Okay. Oh no, the Tapology is not is outdated. CJ,
Yeah.
Tapology sucks.
Falling to shit. Yeah.
Well, they didn't even have the Pancreas show.
No.
No
And
way.
I looked up Rising 40 and they separated it into two events, which is super annoying because it's one event.
Go to SureDog or go to Wikipedia. Oh shit.
SureDog is so much better than Tapology now. I used to hate SureDog.
Right now. Hey, we're live.
Yeah.
Whoops. Drew, you started us off live. Here,
I clicked enter by accident. Anyway, hey everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. We're back on a big return. And of course, it would not be a big return without my co-host, now newly turned 30 co-host from down the south, Jay Krish from Focus Fights. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing incredibly great. I'm just happy to now be in my 30s. I'm happy that the Astros have won the World Series again. And obviously, I'm just excited to talk about this upcoming mega fight card that we got between two great promotions that a lot of people should be talking about. But before we bounce into that, obviously, we got two guests. You know, I wouldn't mind introducing them, but, you know, CJ, you're in Japan. You start us off, and then after him, JayWolf, you're out in California. You go ahead and introduce yourself after CJ does.
All right. Well, I'm CJ from Sogokaku. Been on the podcast a couple times, and I cover the Japanese MMA scene on my website and interview fighters mainly from the women's side of things.
And JayWolf?
Yes, I'm JayWolf, Southern California, Epic Rising fam. And you know, I've been waiting for this. This is like this Epic Rising New Year's Eve collaboration event it was like a Christmas present for me from Santa Sakakibara-san and Santa Scotty Cokes. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. It's a Pride Bushido level event. It's the best thing since sliced bread. Okay, this is going to be absolutely sensational. I cannot wait to watch you guys. It's going to be so much fun, and this is literally like this is kicking down the door to the new golden era, and I cannot wait to watch you guys. It's going to be so much fun. So thank you for having me on, you guys, on the We Are Rising podcast.
Know, Jay, did Santa usually delay his gifts to you when bringing them? Is that why that's why you're so hyped?
Yeah, well, dude, apparently we just learned from the Epic Rising Discord chat, which I recommend everybody join and tune. It's a lot of fun. I guess it is. I mean, the Almighty Pride FCs were tape delayed. I mean, I just can't believe this. But I mean, you know, it's 2022. There's no excuse for it to be tape delayed, especially a show that's this awesome. I mean, this is literally this on paper. This is the best event of the year. It's going to be between this and the match for best combat sports events of the year. I'm saying it right now, and before the fights even happen, I can just tell this is going to be so much fun, you guys. From the Epic Rising 40 card to the Rizin versus Bellator portion, this is going to be so much freaking fun. I cannot. I'm telling you, it's going to be event of the year. It's event of the year on paper already. It's awesome. This is freaking awesome.
Before we get into that whole card, I'm just curious to know. Sorry, this past week was like a double back-to-back header with Pancreas 330 and Rise versus Shootboxing versus Glory Rivals, whatever the show was called. Did anybody see either show? Jay?
I actually saw the highlights of them. They look good. I mean, because it was on for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, Christmas night. So I was out with family and stuff, and I was not really able to watch him, but I did see the highlights and it looked like a lot of fun. There was a real devastating KO at the Rise versus Glory show, and then for Pancrase, I don't know, CJ, he's got to be the authority on that one. CJ knows all about the Pancrase, so I saw a couple highlights, but I'm sure if CJ knows what's up.
Yep, CJ. Anything you want to say about Zenny
or Karen?
Okay, no, it was my wife's birthday, so I wasn't able to catch any of them live. But I mean, I was kind of checking on my social media, and I saw that the kickboxing event was just everyone was going nuts for it. It seemed pretty wild. I'm glad to see that everyone now knows that shoot boxing is the best fighting standing promotion. It's like shoot boxing and deep kick are like always neck and neck for the number one kickboxing promotion in Japan. Just glad to see that confirmed. And Pancrase 330 went down. What?
Even better than King K1?
Oh, I mean, King K. Do you mean K Fest? Because that is not K1 that exists now. this offshoot bastard child of what used to be K1's intellectual property rights. It's K-Fest now.
As long as they do the 8-man Grand Prix, that's all that matters. K1 will keep the crown.
As long as the naming rights are owned by an obscure businessman in Hong Kong, I think K1 is going to be weird for a while. No, but Pancrase 330 had a lot of upsets. It's kind of funny. Pancrase was like building this. They're going to build a new atomweight division, and the person they're going to build it around lost. And then Karen was fighting, and they brought in a 1 and 2 fighter from shootboxing, and she lost. So it's fair to say that the only person that Pancrase wanted to win that actually won was Raid Sudaya, who looked really good, and he's made it very clear he wants to fight for the UFC. And now that he's a Pancrase champion, I could see him in the UFC in the near future.
CJ, I'm not gonna let you kill the lead, as they say. Suguru Ni destroyed a young undefeated prospect as well within less than 2 minutes as well. So I think you need to never again slander his name or the bouncer community.
It's kind of like getting armbarred by Daisuke Nakamura is kind of like getting slapped by Inoki, in that if you get beat by Nakamura, you go on to great things. I mean, he knocked out Ushiku, and then Ushiku went on to become the rising champion. So I guess fighting Nakamura is just like a good luck thing in Japan, where if you fight him, you're blessed to become a champion one day.
Chris, did you see any of these events, or were you watching other sports?
I've seen bits and pieces of the Glory card. I've seen Glory Rise shootboxing card. I've seen none of the Pancrase card. And I was mostly watching other sports. I'm sorry to admit it. But still, I'm aware that, the Glory Rivals card had remote commentary from Todd Grisham and Bazooka Joe Baltalidi that you, Andrew, hate because of the fact that it's 2022 post-COVID and we're still doing remote commentary.
So I guess Glory has a studio in New York, so Todd Grisham was there. He sounded perfect. But Joe was stuck in Toronto or Canada, whatever, because of weather. So if you all remember what Johnny K sounded like, this is kind of like the same thing. CJ, you probably have no idea what we're talking about, but Jay knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they sound like
I've heard rumors of the Johnny Case sounding like he was in a bathroom commentator.
Yeah, like really, really bad. And quite, I'll say the delay wasn't bad, but just there was a clear audio difference, and it kept cutting in and out. Like you hear those little pop sounds whenever like the audio cuts. It was. So, oh my God. And just, they brought over they said that one of the producers was in Tokyo. Why the fuck didn't you bring Todd Grisham and, I don't know, who else? I can't say Stuart Fulton because he was in Pancrase doing his thing. So could have easily
Mark
Pickering. Yeah. Just not anybody. Remote commentary needs to die for all promotions. It's dumb. It's stupid. These guys, listen, fork over the money. This was a big show, and you're doing commentary through Zoom. This is not how you do a show. And also, this show was so easily accessible and cheap as well, unlike some other shows we'll be talking about. So,
wasn't it like $5?
It was $5 for that, and also the prelims, or I guess the non-gory portion was available on Bima for free. Might be still, I don't know if it's still available now or archived. But I didn't need a VPN to watch it.
Abima normally shows a lot of stuff live for free, but to watch it again, you have to be a premium member.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. No,
come to think of it, I just realized, don't you have to sign up to watch the card? To watch the fights on Abima?
No, not. I don't think you do. CJ, do you need to make an account to watch, or do you or some things you have to have an account to watch but still free?
I think you might if you have to have an account, you don't have to pay anything, because I have an account. I think all it was like an email address.
Oh, okay.
But for premium you have to pay. But like when I watch Shuto or One Championship, it's all free on Abima.
And we all know that one, certainly one should be charging like $100 per pay-per-view because they're the best. So
paying me $100 to watch it?
No. We should pay them $100 because they're the perfect promotion. Um,
I'm glad you brought them up, actually. I was really happy to see that Bellator is copying the one championship tape delay technique.
oh,
Because, one championship's really pioneered the tape delay recently. And it's good to see Bellator, following the number one promotion in the world.
I always say this: the one positive is that I've seen Bellator and Rizin. Have you seen what they're doing? Where like the Rizin English and the Bellator, like social media accounts are like doing like, oh well, we don't want to see Johnny Case get Satoshi just Chris, go ahead.
You know what? I'm just realizing that they are enjoying taking cheap little pot shots at one another, but it's for the greater good of not just fans on this side of the Pacific, but obviously CJ on your side of the Pacific, interacting, so to speak.
The most promotion I've ever seen Bellator do legitimately for any show. You got Chael Sonnen doing his thing, so yeah,
he's basically doing entire fighter profiles. I think I've seen one earlier today where he was just basically blowing smoke up the asses of the fighters representing Bellator.
We got Luke Thomas.
Bellator stuff. He won't do anything about Epic Rizin yet, but I mean, CJ wrote an awesome article on cjgoku.com. CJ, what's your website again? With the
article
on Siwu Park?
Sogo-kaku.com.
Yes,
go to there. Means MMA in Japanese.
Oh, okay. Go to that site and read CJ's article, brand new article about Siwu Park and the Epic Rizin 40 main event of Siwu Park versus Siku Izawa. And it was a very, very great article. Also, Jay Krish on your Focus Fight site. I love your guys' article is still there. The number one for me is from the Superior Rule Set to the Octagon, where you track all the Epic Rizin fighters going to the UFC.
Yes,
I don't know if that's the top one or not, but hey, it's a great article.
As we hope to update that article, we need to update the entire site. We need to update the entire, quote unquote focus, pun intended, focus fights. But
you know what? I'm thinking about writing an article for this event, bro. I mean, could you still post it on Focus Fights?
Good, man. It would be one thing. It would be one less thing for me to deal with, considering the fact that I pretty much run the site these days. But I do have an announcement that I have an interview. I don't know if y'all seen Twitter or Instagram, but I do have an interview with Johnny Case coming up tomorrow in about 27 hours from now. So
and everybody check out the Twitter. The tweet that Jay Krish put out is from Jay Christian Gary, and it has a bunch of excellent questions underneath it from Drew and We Are Rising podcast, and Anna Banana asked some excellent questions for Johnny Case, and it did some numbers too. I think Jay Krish, it got like over 10 plus likes. I mean, man, it's blowing up. It got like over 100 views or something like that. That's fantastic. I'm looking forward to the interview.
Oh yeah, of course. I just hope that y'all can send y'all questions in, because we will be doing that interview tomorrow night, and I hope to get the interview up on the Focus Fights platforms and the Focus Fights audio podcast within the next few days before this fight takes place. But now, circling all the way back to, Andrew, you talking about remote commentary. I mean, don't you kind of hope that, at least for this card, we will be able to see Joe Ferraro and Damian Brown, or Joe Ferraro and Frank Trigg, whoever they got, do commentary live from the Saitama Super Arena before passing it off to possibly more Ronaldo and John McCarthy?
I honestly have no idea how they're going to do the. Well, I would guess that they're going to, because they probably know the Rising guys more, but like, I don't know how this whole comment is. It going to be like a thing where I honestly don't know. That's the big question. I'm guessing. So I could see the tape. So the tape delay, that tells me that they might just do the commentary in studio. So they might just bring Morrow and Big John into a studio and do the commentary that way. That's what I believe. I don't see anything on their social media that says, hey, go into Japan or whatever. So that is my.
Well, of course, you probably don't see anything on John McCarthy's social media, but you can't see anything on Mo Ronaldo's because he doesn't have any social media.
Hey, but Mauro Ranallo did say on the most recent Bellator event that him and Big John were going to be commentating at Saitama Super Arena in the land of the rising sun.
Jay, you got to understand. Sometimes I think there's a lot of miscommunication that goes on between these promotions and who they're talking to and all that stuff, particularly Rizin and Bellator. So I won't believe it till I see it. Let's put it that way.
Okay, deal.
It would be so much cheaper for Bellator just to have them come into a studio after it's already done.
This is
I'm
Bellator.
expecting a lot of Bellator commentary where they already know the end results, so they're like, "Oh, I think he's setting this up." Kind of style commentary. So
we got two questions in the chat. I think I know who this is, but I'll just say their name is P, and they want to know: can we get JayWolf staying up for tape delay Pride stories?
Yes, absolutely. You want that's Polio. We were just actually talking about you right at the start of the show. I mean, my mind is still blown about. I mean, I literally thought, when I was watching it back in the day, I thought we were watching live. I mean, it was on DirecTV, like we said, but it just wasn't live. It was the next day. I mean, but like I said in the Discord chat, which I recommend everybody go to the Epic Rizin Discord chat. It's a lot of fun. It's better than Twitter because we can cuss, we talk trash, and have a great time. And it's very well regulated by Drew and Jay Krish, and it's more fun than Twitter. It's like, because it feels like you can be more of yourself than Twitter. But anyways, in a chat that we just saw with Polia, he just totally I mean, I literally thought that I was watching live. Even they haven't disproven that the 2000 Pride GP was not live yet, but they brought the receipts for an 02 event and 05 event. So, I mean, now we can't really sit there and yell at Showtime anymore for saying that, hey, why don't you be like Pride when they were
wrong? Yes, we can still. Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah. No, we will still, because it's 2022 and they should be airing it live. I mean, we stayed up for every single Epic Rizin live. I mean, we know those were aired live. So, and but still, my mind was blown. You successfully blew my mind with that. I couldn't believe it. I still can't, be honest with you.
And so
I mean, I don't know if you. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Jay. I want to get to the next question before we get into the stuff. This is from the Falling Star, and they want to know. So they want to know, what do you think what will happen if the Rizin pay-per-view numbers are really big? 1 million pay-per-view buys will bring in the revenue to take the next big step for expanding this company. Well, before I pass it off to the forum, I'm going to say this is not getting 1 million buys, at least in the United States, outside Japan. JayWolf, I will post that to you.
That's what they're asking for, is about Japan buys, right? Because it's not on pay-per-view here. It's on Showtime. Unless we're talking about the Rizin fight on 40.
I'm assuming that's what Falling Star is talking about. It's talking about like fights things or whatever.
Okay,
I don't know.
Well, Falling Star, could you clarify if you were talking about the Abima pay-per-view or the Fight TV pay-per-view? I think the Abima for sure will get over 1 million, because I mean, CJ is shaking his head no, but I mean, this event's huge, you guys. I'm telling you, this is a Pride Bushido level event. Everybody knows Pride Bushido was that was Pride where it mostly focused on the lighter weight classes. This is the first time since those Pride Bushido events that we've had this high level of fighters going over there to fight in the superior rule set of Epic Rizin. I mean, it's a Mauro Ranallo will confirm it for you guys, but this is a Pride Bushido level event, and I would be surprised. It's CJ. I know you're saying that it's not going to get 1 million, but it's got to get at least 500,000 on a Abima. Come on, this is a huge event. No,
nope.
Really?
Trying to think of it.
Japan doesn't have pay-per-view is a new concept to the Japanese market. They're not a culture that's used to pay-per-view. I think the Mikuru landmark show that crashed the servers had like 60,000 buys. And that had Mikuru, who's like the biggest fighter in Rising's history. So if that does 60,000, I don't know how this card that has nobody with broad market Japanese appeal does 940,000 more buys.
Well, I'm also the match do. What did the match do?
Well, hold on. Before we go to that,
Was the match like 500,000?
Was it? Okay, I expect something similar then.
I'm sorry, hold on. Chris, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was basically gonna agree with JayWolf, but actually put my own narrative on this.
Oh, please do.
Basically, in a way, it would kind of be like what happened recently in the boxing world, where this new concept called Black Prime Pay-Per-View just done an event with Terrence Bud Crawford defending his belt, his WBO welterweight championship in his hometown of Omaha against this Russian guy he just completely brutalized. And the crazy thing about it was they had like a sold out crowd in Omaha just to see this man compete, Terrence Crawford, 10,000 buys. The next event that they're going to have is February 25th in Atlanta. And I'm not basically giving them a cheap plug, but their next event is going to feature Adrian Broner for some awful reason. We all know that event ain't going to sell out anything, but maybe a few celebrities and a cloud full of dust. But still, though, in the case of Rizin, in the case of pay-per-view being a new concept, I think that when it comes down to that, yeah, they might not have that many people that have broad appeal. And this also goes to CJ as well. They might not have superstars with a broad appeal that's Japanese born. You're not going to get Koji Takeda basically hopping out of the tanning bed and, just telling people to buy the show. But you are going to get people like us, the diehard fans that truly love combat sports and just, basically enjoy something like this. You're not going to get any of that with the casual fans, so to speak.
I looked it up. The match did 500,000 pay-per-view buys.
There we go. That's the target then. That's the target. I want it to match the match or get somewhere close to it. I mean,
New Year's Eve is the biggest TV night in all of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kohaku last year was the lowest, that the singing TV show that they have on New Year's Eve. Last year was their lowest ratings ever, and it was a 34% market grab, which means that 34% of people watching in TV Japan were watching that show. So, and as you remember, Rising at its peak when it was free on Fuji TV, never averaged over a 10. So I think it'll sell pay-per-views, but I don't think it's going to be crazy numbers.
Yeah. So
what about this card attracts non-diehard fans in Japan? There isn't a single famous Japanese fighter on here outside of Horiguchi.
Well, I want to add to that, CJ. That's actually a good point. Isn't this the first New Year, or I guess since the first shows, obviously, where there was no Asakura on a show? Just look at the roster. There's no Asakura, brother. There's no Tenshin. There's no Rena. There's no Kana Asakura. All of the big stars who got big numbers are not on this card. The most famous person on this card is...
What about Ren? Ren don't count?
Maybe. He's not a proven
Ren Hiromoto counts to a certain extent. But basically what CJ is trying to make here is that you got no big stars outside of Kyoji Horiguchi on this card, but you're still hoping that people will be able to, not only buy it, but watch it and enjoy it.
I think they will, because this is the first time these big international stars are coming over there to challenge the Japanese stars. I mean, that's how guys like Sakuraba, that's how they got big, fighting the guys like Rampage Jackson and you know what I mean? That's how they build the big Japanese stars, having them fight international fighters.
There's a big visual difference between Rampage and Sakuraba versus, I don't know, Pitbull versus Clever. There is a little bit of a freak show aspect to that as well.
I just want to, if I went out and I asked people on the streets, have you heard of Mikio Asakura? Most of them would say yes. Have you heard of Tenshin Nasukawa? Most of them would say yes. If I said, have you heard of Horiguchi? Most of them would say no. If I said, have you heard of Ren Hitamoto? Most of them would say no. Then if I go down the list, like, have you heard of Takeda? Have you heard of Kim? Have you heard of Clever Koike? None of these people have broad market appeal. None of them are famous to average Japanese people. Those giant pride shows were free on TV, which is how people watch them. So now you're having to get Japanese people to go out of their way to find out how to get the pay-per-view and then to buy it. So you're essentially already marketing to a much smaller market. You're marketing to people that are already using Abema or already have Rising Stream Pass. So there's not going to be a lot of like casual people watching this.
All right, I guess we'll have to see the numbers after the fact. I mean, shoot, CJ, I'd like you to go out on the street and do like a video interview with the microphone, asking people, random people, hey, do you know this fight? You know Ren Hiramoto?
I'd be arrested in 10 minutes. No, but I like the show, but I think the show caters to people that like MMA. Where in the past, the fights that do big numbers are like what the biggest numbers ever were Bob Sapp versus Akabono. So you got to have some like thing that attracts normal people.
Oh, and you don't think the cross promotion? This is the biggest cross promotional event since the Almighty Pride FC. This is it. There's nothing bigger than this.
Okay,
so it might even
Jay,
be bigger
Jay, if I was like, you know, the Brazilian volleyball league, they're having this cross tournament with the Japanese volleyball league. Does that matter to you?
No, but that's volleyball. We're talking about the superior
exactly.
set
So
here.
if I'm talking to a person that doesn't watch MMA regularly, and I'm like, this thing, Bellator, they're gonna be like, I don't know what Bellator is. I'm like, oh well, it's like the third best promotion in part of the US. They're coming over to fight in Japan.
Third. Yes, it's number 2. Clearly,
I was gonna say 6th or 7th.
Who do you have number 2, CJ?
I got
the
UFC.
Point of the matter is, you guys.
Combat Americas, Invicta FC.
I got
Point
one.
Of the matter, you guys.
One.
As I'm trying to say here, basically, it's only going to do a fraction of what the almighty first Shockwave, first Dynamite show did 20 years ago. Even though you're not going to have 90,000 screaming fans enjoying the show, you know, just as they did back in 2002, and you're not going to have the late Antonio Inoki, may he rest in peace, drop down from a helicopter.
Yeah.
Listen,
you're not going to have Hito Gracie light the Olympic flame either.
Noe Inoki, though, I would not be surprised if for Gamryu Ujima, or for even Rizin, they brought out his corpse to do some weird ass shit. This is Inoki.
Oh, no,
Inoki is a worker, is still a worker until death. That's my.
Drew wants him nailed to the cross. Brought out nailed to the cross out there.
Again, yes. It'll be the symbolic death of Inoki. But I mean, listen, I'll just say this. This show ain't getting 1 million buys, at least on fights. You know, problem is that I don't even know like where to start with, like, you know, how to say to watch a show. There's ways to watch a show, and then there's ways to not watch a show. So you could kind of watch it on fight, but you kind of can't, depending on where you are.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't get why they're doing that, man. Drew, you're absolutely right when you say they should have had this stuff figured out so long ago. I just don't get it.
Listen. This is why, Jay. I tell you,
wait. I have the answer. I have the answer, Jay.
Yeah.
They don't care about you.
Well, even for the rest of the world, besides just us. I mean,
I got the answer.
This epic,
they don't care.
Man.
They don't care. They say they care, but they don't care.
It's like an abusive boyfriend or girlfriend. They're saying that they're beating you because they love you. Rising is saying you can't watch a show because we love you. That's what they're saying.
Rising is like, we're really looking forward to the international market, and because of that, we're going to geo-block all of our shows, requiring to have Japanese credit cards to buy them.
But now Japanese
and we're
address.
also going to send a physical card to that address that you then have to use to confirm that you live there, because we hate all of you. But give us your money, you dirty foreigners.
It's fucking crazy, dude. It's like direct sabotage. It feels like they're sabotaging it, trying to keep the superior rule set awesomeness from the masses. I shit you guys not. It feels like they're trying to sabotage it, trying to keep people. They're not
sabotaging. They just don't learn. They just don't learn from past. Listen, this is the same. CJ, you could. This is the same country that uses fax machines as the number one way of communication. Listen, there's a reason why anime, for so long, anime took like 10 years to like come stateside, and then finally when Crunchyroll or Funimation comes around, and suddenly guess what? There's a boom with anime because finally we can watch this shit live. But this is
it reminds me of like when Deep and Deep Jewels were like they went on Ustream, and it was like, oh, this is so convenient. And then a month later, they're like, oh, we're no longer doing that. And I was like,
well, and then they were on Spike TV, and they were like, oh, we're no longer doing that.
Yeah. It's because they hate you. They don't really care about you.
By the way, send your press F to respect for Daniel, who spent $50 on DMM coins, and then the thing said we can't. This show is not available in your region. So
yeah, Daniel Zubicki from the Polish MMA announcer, a great guy, and it was great for him to take one for the team to try to figure out if that would work or not, and spending $50, $70, whatever it was. I mean,
anyway,
good for him.
Respecting him, because I'll never use so many. Even Abima does that stupid, like, oh, you can't buy this directly. You have to buy coins and then use those coins to buy the pay-per-view. Like, what is this, fucking online Chuck E. Cheese? No, like, just take my money. Why is this so hard?
Money, take the money. Give us a stream. Gosh damn, man, this is ridiculous.
Well, listen, maybe next year they'll learn from the mistakes. Probably not.
They will. To answer Falling Star's question, it's not going to get, it might not get 1 million. Hopefully it does, but it's going to get enough to where Fuji TV is going to come crawling back. That's what's going to happen.
By the way, this vindicates. I want to say this vindicates Fuji TV. I remember.
No.
Oh no! Listen, everybody used to say, "Oh, this is like maybe like some Fuji TV thing." This totally vindicates that it's been Rizin or Dream Factory, whoever's like pulling the strings.
No,
this has never been a
Fuji
Fuji TV thing.
Showtime.
Fuji TV never gave a shit.
Messing it up.
You guys remember the match? You guys remember the match like 2 days before was like, oh yeah, I guess we should try to figure out some way to watch this internationally. Never mind. I don't think we're going to do that. I know we've been promoting it, but who needs commentators? Or was it the match that had the English? What was the Rising event? Was it the match where they had English commentators but no English stream?
Oh no, Pancras. So Pancras this past week.
No, not that. There was legitimately a Rising show.
Oh yes. Was it? It wasn't Super Rising. No, it was the one before.
It was Rising 37.
Yes, it was. Yes, remember?
There was like weird clips of them doing English commentary, but no English option. You know why, right, Jay? It's because they hate you.
I'll just say this quickly, and I believe that's Paul. Brings up a good point. The one promotion that doesn't hate you, GLEAT, because GLEAT MMA's first show was on YouTube for free, and you can see Minoru Tanaka get the shit kicked out of him in an MMA fight, and Yuki Kondo fight as well, and other pro wrestlers fight as well. So check out GLEAT MMA version. I think they call it version 0.0. That's what they called it.
All of them are freaking minor league compared to the Epic
The show
Rise.
is actually called GLEAT MMA version 0, and you can watch that on YouTube.
I love that version
that's
0.
Because they're not as big as Epic Rising.
How dare you?
Is a big show.
You're saying GLEAT, the promotion founded by Kiyoshi Tamura, is not as big as Rizin?
Yes.
This is bullshit.
What's their rule set? Do they have a superior rule set? I don't think
Unified rules.
Oh, do they have as many
right
social
now.
Media accounts as Deep?
Put 'em right
Because
in
if
the
you don't
garbage.
have 20 different social media accounts like Deep, then you're not a real Japanese MMA promotion.
Well,
Hey,
anyway,
but they're using the unified rules. Throw them in the garbage right now. Just take them off the air. Unified rules suck.
hey, listen, but
Hey,
you want
I have a question for Jay. So
Yes.
Jay, if you had to choose between the unified rules or it's either the unified rules or in a ring, which would you pick?
What? So the question is either unified rules or in the cage, basically.
Unified rules in the ring or rising rules in the ring or unified rules in the cage?
Oh, Rizin rules in the ring, without a doubt. Superior rule set rules all. There's nothing better. And you guys are going to see exactly why I call it epic, this New Year's Eve collaboration mega event. It's going to be freaking fantastic. I just cannot wait.
But Jay, you do bring up a good point. So yes, we are here to talk about the true last show of 2022, despite what the UFC media says. And that show is Octagon 38, which will be going on December 30th from Poland. You can watch it on octagon.tv. And okay, no, we're not. We're
Is
here
that the that logo is in my nightmares?
no, of course not.
I mean, come to think of it, and you could have also said that Cage Warriors, the U.S. versus Europe, was going to be taking place on the afternoon of New Year's Eve here in the States on the Fight Pass, and that'll mark the last true event of 2022. But enough about all that. We're here to talk about Rizin 40. We're here to talk about Bellator versus Rizin. You got 15 fights on the card, 10 of which we'll be able to see on Fight. The other 5 will be geo-blocked and tape delayed to air on Showtime that evening.
10, depending on where you are as well. Apparently, Australia has no availability to the entire show. I've learned. Now the UK doesn't either. So you know what?
Oh
just go to Andorra. Just go to Andorra or like Mogadishu. Probably there's no like geo blocking there. So set your VPNs to that.
They'll get that fixed before fight day. They got to get that fixed.
Yeah,
before
you
fight
know
day.
it's literally, well, in Japan now it's the 27th. It's 3 more days. 3 more days.
Dude, this is crazy, man. I just can't believe this. Ganryu Jima Moat Fights is doing that. They're not even. There's probably not even gonna be a freaking pirate stream of that one. This is ridiculous. CJ, you gotta slap some sense in these Japanese people. They have got to give us access and let it take our money, dude. This is ridiculous.
It's a Japanese product that we enjoy, and we're not going to export it to you heathens out there outside of Japan. My offer still stands. I'll draw stick figures of what's happening and send pictures to the Discord if people are curious about what's happening in real time.
Wait, you're going to be there, right, CJ?
It should be like
Yeah.
It should be like it should be like you should do
flip
like
book.
a flip book version.
Yeah.
Just do like that one. Remember that one streamer that had like the camera facing his glasses and we could see the reflection of the fight going on? Just do that, CJ. But while you're at the event, have the camera record your glasses so we can see the event while it's happening live.
Unfortunately, I'm not that close to the ring.
Oh.
All you'll see is drunk people being arrested and dragged out of the arena.
Hey, if it's live, that'd be just as good if it's live then.
You know, it's funny that you say that. I thought you was going to mention Google Glass or something.
By the way, I don't know. It was Jake Riggs posted like a great like breakdown of how to watch each portion of the show, and there's I think I'm even more confused after seeing his breakdown. So you know, all I'll just say is good fucking luck on.
So first thing you have to do is you have to kill a dove and sprinkle its blood on your TV, and then pray 3 times, turn in a circle, get a Japanese credit card, have an address to receive the Japanese card, and that only shows you the first 4 fights of the event. Then you have to go to Showtime. It's just the most crazy, insane shit. It's like they really do hate you.
No, look, they'll figure it out after this event because I mean,
no,
look,
they won't.
That's the only thing that you don't think. Well, look, that's the only thing
this happens at every event. Look at the match.
Have you guys noticed the comments? The comments have been overwhelmingly positive about this event. Even
Jay, that's another
media.
issue. Yes, no, Jay, you're right. Here's the problem though. There's gonna be people out there who are gonna buy that show on Fight who think they're getting the full show, and when Ferraro and Damien Brown are like, hey, thank you for staking us for Rizin 40 after Izawa versus Park. Listen, go on to Showtime tomorrow and check out the rest of the fights. They're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, they'll get a free. They'll get a not a free, but at least they'll get the Epic Rizin 40 card, which is a badass card in itself. So I mean, it's not like they're getting nothing.
Don't be one of them, Jay. Don't separate this. This is one event. Don't do that stupid separating this into 2 things. This is one event.
I think that's Tapology, being brainwashed or dumb.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they still haven't put in the Pancreas 330 show.
Yeah.
So
hey, but
they also haven't updated any of the changes for this event. They still have Johnny Case fighting whoever the hell he was originally, Luis Gustavo, whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, look, this is actually an elaborate conspiracy to get people to want to travel to Japan to watch it live. So that's the only way to see it live.
is that the Japanese government, CJ? You think the Japanese government's is trying to slip in there and be like, tape delay the show, because then fans will come over and we'll get tourists over.
Yeah, boost the tourism industry.
I could have sworn that JayWolf was going to take like a whole Dana White is bribing Fight TV to not show the Bellator part of this card. Like approach to
Hey,
this.
that could very well be what it is, you guys. Showtime could be self-sabotaging to protect their boxing. They don't want people to see the epic rise of superior rule set action with these Bellator superstars, pound for pound great fighters like Patricio Pitbull unleashing the superior rule set. Because then the boxing fans are going to be like, what are we paying $70 for boxing for when we got this awesome superior rule set over here? But that's the key now. You gotta keep paying for boxing because they can't even watch superior rule set because it's freaking geo blocked and tape delayed.
Come to think of it, Bellator I'm not saying Bellator, but Showtime has done fights from other promotions before and entirely other sports. They've done shows from M1 Global and Elite XC and I think Affliction as well. And they also had like a basketball game that was all the way back in 1998 during the NBA lockout at that time. And they also did karate. Well, not just karate, but kickboxing as well. But they always seem to go back on the well when it comes to boxing and their fans because it's what they've been doing since 1986. But still, though, I think that even though, of course, a lot of people are going to harp on the fact that it's on tape delay, like it's a basketball or a football, well, like it's a basketball or a hockey game in the 80s or something. But still, though, even though people are going to harp on tape delay, they are going to see this half of the Rizin card, the Rizin versus Bellator portion, and see something incredibly, different.
That's right.
And hope that when it comes down to the overall reception, if it's good enough, they're going to be begging for more and wanting to see more of Rizin.
I'll say this, I would, I don't know what Showtime is airing at 4 a.m., excuse me, like whatever, billions reruns or something. I have no idea. So
let's just say it's a movie of an acquired taste, so to speak.
Okay. So there's no reason why they can't air it live and then maybe 8 p.m. Well, also the other thing, they're doing this 8 p.m. on New Year's Eve. I'm presuming also it's going to be edited. I think
who watches porn at 4 a.m. on New Year's Eve?
Is your wife in the room?
I feel like that's what Jay Chris was hinting at, that they're showing porn.
What, you're talking about a Skinemax thing, Chris? Is that like a Skinemax thing?
No, they already have a channel for that. It's the movie channel, but still.
Slippery When Wet 37 is airing again.
I just wish it could have been, it would air live at 4 a.m. whatever, and then you could do the 8 p.m. thing, the next day.
Yeah,
that's what they should do.
Yeah, and clearly, I think they're going to clearly delay the show. They're going to edit the show. They're going to try and make it within 2 or 3 hours or whatever because they want it to be done by 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. before New Year's day hits for us. It's the L word. That's what's
actually in both time zones, really Eastern and Central, and then again in the Mountain and Pacific time zones.
I want to get the Falling Stars question before we move on to this half geo blocked, half non-geo block show. So Falling Star wants to know, what are your feelings about Rizin trying to do their next Mayweather fight with Nate Diaz? Pipe dream or actual possibility? Not a possibility at all. Jay,
not a possibility. It'll never happen. It'll never happen.
Oh, come on, you guys. Falling Star, I like that. I like how you think, my brother. That's a great idea. I hope that happens. And I hope they actually get Nate Diaz, even for just the Mayweather bout. That'd be huge for Epic Rizin. I sincerely hope that happens.
Well, hold on. The question
prefers,
this is the question. The most important question is, will it be tape delayed?
No, it won't.
No, they're going to learn their lesson right here, you guys.
No, they won't. Look, and Rizin prefers to have Mayweather beat their young and upcoming talent for no reason instead of bringing in an established fighter for him to fight.
Jay, Chris, you think that fight would actually ever happen or no?
I mean, let's just say this. If they brought in Mayweather to beat up, as CJ was trying to allude to, their young up-and-coming talent, first Tenshin Nasukawa, and then obviously earlier this year with Mikuru Asakura, what's to say that this fight between Floyd Mayweather and Nate Diaz won't happen, especially considering, if it happens on the Rizin card in Hawaii, or if it just happens on a separate Showtime pay-per-view, this could basically drag millions.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. The question is not. I think Rizin would love to do it, but Mayweather would say no because he's not going to take a fight like that at his age, and also probably because no, he wouldn't. Why?
Oh,
Why?
man.
No. That's legitimately dangerous. That's legitimately that could be a legitimately competitive fight for him, and he's not taking competitive fights anymore.
Oh, you're serious? Oh man. All right. Well, look, Mikuru rocked him. Maybe that's why, because he's scared. Because Mikuru got him rocked. He thinks Diaz will put him out.
No, he didn't rock him. Jay, come on. I know you have memory issues, but come on, we know that never happened.
He did. He rocked him a little bit. Come on, I did a little stanky leg a little bit.
Oh, so P in the chat says that around 4 a.m. Showtime will be running G.I. Jane. So I guess G.I. Jane has more precedence over Rizin. JayWolf.
Hey, that was a badass movie in the 90s, but I mean, dude, there's no excuse. They'll learn after this because I mean that's the only thing people are hating on. That's it.
I'm with CJ. They won't.
What else are they hating on, you guys? There's nothing else to hate on except for the tape delay aspect of it.
But it's not just the tape delay. It's just that it seems like there's no, besides Japan itself, and if you're going to a show, it seems like you can only watch the show in portions live one way, and then you have to go somewhere else to. Why can't it be like one platform to just like buy the show and watch it that way? Why does it have to be? This reminds me of,
I agree with you on that one, especially considering the fact that I think last year, and obviously for the Super Rizin show this year, they aired the Rizin events on, terrestrial pay-per-view here in the States.
But that was an option though. You had the option to either watch the Super Rizin portion or the whole show on Fight. It wasn't like two separate shows. You got the entire show. So I mean, if you saw Super Rizin on pay-per-view, I presume that most people bought on Fight. That's my belief. That they weren't like me where I bought on pay-per-view and then bought it on Fight.
That's what I did. I bought Super on pay-per-view and then the 39 on Fight.
In this case, like in Europe, sounds like you don't get the Rizin, like some places don't get the Rizin portion, but then you have to watch it on BT Sports or whatever for the Bellator versus Rizin portion. Apparently Australia, you can't even get the show. Japan, you just have to buy tickets to the show. So CJ is probably just laughing inside at all of us overseas geeks. Canada, apparently Canada has, I don't know. I think I thought it was geo-blocked entirely in Canada as well. I thought that's what Jack Wannen said. I thought.
Look, you guys have some faith. They're gonna get it sorted before fight day.
And
they will.
Well, first of all, Jay, that's bad if they're sorting this out before fight day. This should have been sorted out months ago.
No, I agree, but they'll get it done. Just have some faith. Sakaki Barasan, he got the match done, and they're gonna get this epic Rizin New Year's Eve collaboration mega event done for everybody.
Listen. The show has gotten hard to watch as the weeks went on. It was easier to watch it 2 weeks ago. As it gets closer to fight day, I'm worried that they're going to start sectioning off parts of the show. Soon it will be, you can only watch the Yushi fight or up to like the Johnny Case fight or something. I'm worried that I'm worried. I'm worried. I'm really worried.
And you know what? Come to think of it, Andrew, as you got the graphic for that first fight, Yushi versus Tatsuya Nakazawa. I mean, I just gotta ask. Let's just say in a year from now, we're back on this whole discussion again. Rizin have already had their two. At that point, Rizin will have already had 2 shows with Bellator. Do you potentially see somebody like Yushi becoming a star for Rizin down the line?
Oh, gee. Listen.
He already is a star.
Yes.
Yeah. CJ, the random people in the street would know who Yushi is, right? There you go.
No, I don't think
number one male prostitute in all of Tokyo.
Oh my god.
not named
First off,
Horie.
back to what Jay was talking about. Sakakibara, who's currently being like sued by multiple people for not paying back loans, doesn't give a shit about international viewership.
That's on the
He's
list
not
of
paying
his
attention
concerns.
to it at all. He's too busy taking money from old women in the back of cars to care about international viewership numbers.
Why only take our money too? I mean, if we got money, we're ready to pay them. We're ready.
It's so much easier to take it from old senile people.
Instead of people willing to give it to them for free.
I like the whole basis of that. I loved learning about that. Like, oh, apparently, like he was asking for money as like gifts, and then when they're like, they thought it was a loan, and then the courts are like, no, that's a loan, homie. So, yeah.
I thought they were just gonna. I thought they just gave me $200,000 as a present.
Well,
hey,
no,
Santa
Biggie.
Sakakibara-san can do no wrong after making the match and the New Year's Eve collaboration mega event. Santa Sakakibara-san can do no wrong, and those are frivolous lawsuits. CJ, tell him JayWolf said that they're frivolous.
He's already lost one of them. But I will say that I'm glad you brought that up. Sakakibara-san is also the one that ruined the international viewership of the match. So
no, that was a sabotage attempt that failed. Remember?
2 for 2. He's 2 for 2 this year on destroying international viewership.
No, CJ, no, that was a sabotage attempt on the match. Remember, that was some extortionist trying to extort money from him, and Fuji TV took the bait, and they regretted it afterwards. And that's the same thing that's going to happen in the New Year's Eve collaboration mega event. Fuji TV is going to say, damn, we should have aired it. We regret this. Please come back to us next year, Sakakibara-san. Then they're going to get on TV and do the same bowing thing like Sakakibara-san did. Remember?
I feel like JayWolf's never met a Japanese person. A Japanese person would never say any of those things.
No, also, Jay, in fairness, the guy who runs the Fuji TV network now is basically the equivalent of the guy who runs HBO now, who like hates.
He hates combat sports. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God.
So.
Yeah,
Listen,
Oh my god, you're talking about David Zasov, right?
Zazov, yeah. No, not the new, not the. He's the newer guy, right? But whoever was the one who took over HBO TV or HBO channel.
Right.
Who got rid of boxing?
Yeah, who basically squashed all boxing for HBO. So actually, we have a comment from your friend CJ. WMMA scene now. He says, I can't wait for Yushi's entrance. It's the kind of JMMA New Year's Eve deserves. So yeah, might as well talk about this fight.
Agreed.
I agree.
Yeah, but before we obviously do, I mean, I gotta say one thing, and then we'll get right into it. At least when it comes to, who would have shown a pay-per-view start to finish, bell to bell, at least HBO would have done it first.
Thank you. If HBO can do it, Showtime can do it. Am I right?
Yes. So don't do it next time, you guys. Don't look. The way we're gonna watch On Fight. It's gonna be On Fight. Have some faith. Rizin 40 will be On Fight, and then the epic Rizin versus Bellator portion, we're gonna have to pirate it live, and then we'll watch the tape delay on Showtime. That's it.
I'll say
That's how
this:
it's gonna be.
I'm going to be very curious about those ratings for Showtime. I want to know how many people watched that show. I'm gonna be following. However I can. I want to know that like immediately how many people watched a tape delayed show.
Yeah. And remember their average for Bellator is right around 100,000 viewers.
Which is not good. That's not good for a live show. So
no,
God only knows.
Those subscription viewers, you're thinking of regular viewers for like ESPN or something. Well, 100,000 subscription viewers is pretty good. I mean, how does it compare to the other viewership? It looks like it beats a lot of other movies and other shows.
Well, I don't think it's being billions or
okay. Well,
session.
You're talking about their main tentpole shows, but I'm talking about like just the regular run-of-the-mill shows. It's beating them. So, and I think that's why they won't air it live. Actually, Drew, is because they're afraid that people are going to DVR it and fast forward the commercials. But
wait, CJ, it's a Showtime. If they don't have commercials, or they don't have.
It's a premium It's a premium cable network. Of course, it's not gonna have commercials. Damn it! But
No, they do for
though,
Bellator. Haven't you guys ever watched a Bellator on Showtime?
But they're promoting more. They're promoting their own stuff. It's not like advertisers. It's like outside advertisers.
CJ, we didn't get to see that. Put it up on thing again. CJ, you gotta say something so the screen goes to you.
Yep, just
okay,
lies,
DJ
JayWolf.
saying lies. DJ is saying lies. Let's move right along and talk about this fight here. Yushi is going to be fighting in his third mixed martial arts bout, third over the course of the last year. Tatsuya Nakazawa, he will be fighting for the first time in almost a decade. Well, actually, no, let me rephrase that. He'll be fighting for the first time as a pro in 7 years, his first time overall in 6 years. Does anybody care about this fight?
By the way, also,
yeah.
I care.
Nakazawa is 43 years old, by the way. So wait, CJ, have you ever seen this guy in Deep?
Not that I can remember. No, he doesn't stand out to me.
He's also an outsider fighter, so you should immediately love him already.
Yeah.
But he's 43. I don't give a shit about this fight. I'm into
this fight. I'm into this fight. Come on.
Yushi's awesome. What are you talking about?
No, I just don't care about the
CJ knows
opponents.
what's up.
I don't care about this old man who's gonna get beat up by Yushi.
Enjoy
The best
it.
thing about this would be Yushi's entrance.
So I'm saying the one thing this card is lacking is like the JMA like essence, the secret sauce, and this Yushi entrance. While it's no Sarakubo Sun entrance and it's no Shibatar entrance, I think it'll be the most like JMA-esque entrance.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to the entrance. Yushi, I mean, he goes out there and bangs. He tries to finish fights. It'll be exciting, and it should be fun.
You know what I just remembered before we go? We got to give a shout out to Lenny Hart. CJ is talking about it's going to be missing the Japanese MMA element, and none will be bigger than missing out on having Lenny Hart there.
Oh, that's true.
She's going through a throat surgery with getting a polyp removed, and so she's going to be out for this event. And we will definitely miss you, Lenny, and we wish you a speedy recovery and come back to us as soon as possible. And just wish you all the best and everything. We love you. And talking about Lenny Legend, Lenny Hart, the voice of the Epic Rizin and Almighty Pride FC. There's none better. So get well soon, and we can't wait to have you back. And now she will be definitely missed at this event. But it's still not going to take away from the awesomeness. This event's going to be so freaking epic, you guys. It's going to show you exactly why I call it epic. I just cannot wait. It's going to be and I can't believe you're not even excited about Yushi. CJ is totally right, man. Yushi's gonna bring the badass walkout, and he's also
the walkout will be fine. Walkout will be fine, but this fight better last like the first round and get end in the first minute. Okay, so because we got real fights to go on.
Hey,
to.
well, if Yushi can stomp or soccer kick his opponent out, it's gonna be totally. That's the right way to kick off a mega event like this. So I'm looking forward to it.
Jay, Chris, any thoughts on this fight?
Well, I mean, first of all, when it comes down to this fight card, aside from this fight and the fight that's going to happen with Ren Hiramoto, all the fights on this card are going to be 3 5-minute rounds. This one is going to be contested over 3 3-minute rounds. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be quick, enjoyable, and a lot for everybody to enjoy, even though, of course, Yushi will be kicking this old man's ass. And of course,
that's the same thing that Yushi says to his customers.
Oh yeah, of course. But it's like
CJ, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Oh my God! But it's like JayWolf said, Lenny Hart. Even though a lot of casual fans really don't like her or don't really get off on her, so to speak, because of the fact that she's annoying. She has a very irritating voice. Blah 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 blah. Fuck all that bullshit. Lenny Hart is a legend in this sport, and yeah, it's gonna suck not hearing her. It's gonna suck her. Blah. What am I trying to say? Because of the surgery that she had, it's gonna suck not hearing her do what she does best on the fight card coming up on New Year's Eve. And it's going to suck for the amount of time that she'll be out because, as we all know, Andrew, you and I especially know, when we talk, that's what we use to make money. That's what we use to hustle, so to speak. So it's going to suck to hear Lenny Hart not be on this card. But in a way, I can only hope that she's going to be enjoying herself watching this card because, I mean, even though there's going to be the intro, there's going to be the pomp and circumstance, there's going to be the usual pyro and ballyhoo, so to speak. Hell, you might even bring Michael C. Williams out for the Bellator versus Rizin portion any damn way because he's Rizin. I mean, he's a Bellator guy through and through. But still, though, the point I'm trying to make, and I'm sorry for this run, but I'm just going to basically say my damn piece about this as we can. I'm just going to say my damn piece about this, and then we'll move on to the rest of the show. You know what? Fuck it. I was just waiting until the end of the show. But still, the point of the matter is.
Who do you think's gonna? Who do you think they're gonna get to be in a place of Lenny? Do you think they're gonna get the bootleg Lenny for one?
You know, I'll say this. No, they should get the Rise lady. Whoever that Rise lady is, CJ, you know the Rise?
BV May?
Yeah, she's pretty good. I like
the MMA fighter.
No, who's the
Wait a minute. You mean May Yamaguchi?
May Yamaguchi does the Rise call.
She does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's her. That's her who's doing like the intros for the fighters.
Yeah, the ring announcer, not the commentary.
Oh, she's good.
That's her.
Yeah,
what? Wow. Bring her in then.
Come to think of it, I really don't care who they get. They can get Risa Serra, they can get Hiromi Kawaye or Janice Kawaye, the famous voice actors from this side of the Pacific. But still, though, they can get anybody to be a part of that damn card and replace Lenny Hart. But nobody's going to replace Lenny Hart because, as Lenny Hart always says,
Jay Chris, you got to get on a different device. We can barely hear it.
Yeah.
That's Lenny Hart's "We Are Rising" call. You got to play it on. Got to have your phone playing it.
Okay.
Here,
so just quickly, because I don't want to be on. I don't want to be staring at this graphic anymore. JayWolf.
Yushi's a beautiful man. Why are you not staring at this graphic?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But the point of the matter is, ain't nobody gonna replicate Lenny Hart on that night or any other night until she's back behind that chair, calling fights from her point of view.
Yeah.
And as far as the Yushi fight goes, nobody cares. They just want to see Yushi kick some old man's ass.
I know somebody who cares, and that's the former head of Potential. I mean, she's the one that got Yushi into Rising. She's just the real Rising star maker. So
yeah, and
look
at
any
Yushi's
potential back fighter I'm into.
Yeah, and look at his interactions on Twitter. He's getting thousands of freaking likes from Japanese fans. The Japanese fans love him. I mean, and rightly so. His guy is a charismatic fighter. Great walkouts, exciting in the ring. And now he's fighting a veteran and under the superior rule set, mixed martial arts rules, Epic Rising. It's going to be fun. It's a great bout to kick off the card, you guys. Really.
The guy's done? Okay, good. We're beautiful. Let's move on to a real fight now.
Let's move on through the card because I can see the graphic on the background, Andrew.
Yep.
You got Show Patrick Usami versus Black Panther Benoa. Show Patrick Usami has been killing things, so to speak, in his MMA run, but nobody has been able to see him truly compete. As for Black Panther Benoa, well, his rising career so far has just been a mixed bag, and the native of Torrance, California, USA, now residing in Tokyo, is looking to basically make up for the fact that he should have done this shit a whole lot sooner. Any thoughts?
The CJ?
I like Benoa. I think Benoa is great. The last Rising fight he lost against Takeda. I mean, Takeda's a former deep champion. He's a great fighter, and Benoa essentially knocked him down, hurt him really bad in the fight. And he's clearly...
he was beating Lukaku. He was beating Lukaku until Lukaku was he knocked out Lukaku.
He was losing to Lukaku, then he knocked Lukaku out.
That was it. Yes.
No, but Obviously, he seems like he's a much better MMA fighter than he's a kickboxer, as this year's results kind of show. So I'd like to see him make the full-time switch over to MMA. And I think Patrick comes from a boxing background, but his last fight did not fill me with confidence. When you're struggling against like an old man post-injury, Sasaki. I mean, that fight was clearly them trying to show him off, and he did the opposite. And so even though he got the TKO in the last round, I just wasn't that impressed. So I'm kind of looking for Bay Noah to win this fight.
JayWolf?
Oh yeah, I'm Bay Noah all the way. You know, I love that fight. I love my kickboxing crossovers. I mean, CJ, you don't like? I thought he was a Rise champion, wasn't he?
Welterweight champion, I think.
Yeah, but
But the belts don't mean anything in Rise. I think
come on.
I've seen. I don't think I've ever seen a Rise championship actually defended. They'll just say this person's a champion, and I'll see him for 3 shows, and they never defend the belts.
I mean, in kickboxing, he's like what 0-2 this year. He got brutally knocked out by Kaito. So
and Kaito never finishes anybody.
Well, he's still a good fighter. Come on, you guys. I mean, look, it's
no,
gonna be
I'm not
awesome.
saying he's a shitty kickboxer. I'm saying he's a better MMA fighter. So
okay.
And it's hard to, because even with striking, there's like striking and kickboxing is different than striking in MMA. The ranges are different. He needs to pick one and focus on it. And I'd like to see him focus on MMA.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, excuse me. And I liked how he showed great improvement with his grappling as well, and for a kickboxing crossover. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and you know, I'm really enjoying Bay Noah's career. Basically, I mean, he's a great fighter, a lot of fun, and you know, he showed he has a he's acclimated to the superior rule set, and he knows how to throw, you know, superior rule set strikes like ground and knee, soccer kicks, stomps, all those good stuff that we love. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he performs in this one on arguably the biggest card of the year for anywhere besides obviously the match. I mean, it's going to be great. I can't wait. What do you think, Drew? You think he's going to?
Oh, no. I want to go to Jay Krish. I want to go to Jay Krish.
Sorry. Yeah, Jay Krish.
I have not heard much about Joe Patrick Usami aside from the fact that he competed on that Road to Japan series for the UFC. However, I do think that this will probably be a showcase fight for him because of the fact that he has an amateur boxing background. As far as Bay Noah goes, well, we all know what to expect from Bay Noah. He's going to basically come out, do a crazy entrance to that Black Panther remix theme he always comes out to, and he's going to gas out and hope not to get his ass whooped. I mean, I just think that this fight is going to be a showcase on, you know, Bay Noah trying not to lose. And in this case, it'll be like Bay Noah can't lose, like that anime Comey can't communicate. But still, though, I think Bay Noah's going to try to fight not to lose. And I think Usami is going to take advantage of that.
I think CJ said it best. When you're struggling against old man Shinji Sasaki, and I think there are points where he may have lost a round. I know that Rizin obviously doesn't judge by rounds, but I think he may have lost maybe the first or second round, if I remember correctly. I think it was the first round. Yeah, that doesn't give me such hope. With Show Patrick. I think this is a case where I think they're pushing somebody way too fast, and I think he may not have the experience or just the fight talent to be fighting somebody like a Bay Noah yet. I could be wrong, but fights are in the feet. I think if Bay Noah cracks Usami, I think Usami goes down. Sorry, go ahead.
Kind of support what you're saying. I think it's rough for guys like Patrick who are like obviously have really good boxing skills, because you're going to go through those first couple of fights so quickly, just only relying on the boxing skills. But you're eventually going to get to a level where the boxing alone isn't going to be enough. And I think that's what we saw in his last fight.
We have a comment from Osh, I think it's pronounced Oshan in the chat, who says he's concerned. he's concerned about Beinoa's chin. He's gotten a lot of damage here by Kaito and Wajima in the kickboxing. So that's also a factor. He got knocked out by Kaito. Kaito rarely ever knocks anybody out at this point. So the fact that he got knocked out by Kaito, Beinoa may not have the chin to even take a jab from Usami or across from Usami. I mean, I don't know,
It'll
Jay.
be interesting to see what Beinoa does. He might just stick to kicking range, or I mean, he's physically gifted. He might actually try to grapple with Patrick.
Well, here's Beinoa. Remember, he stuffed all the takedowns of Dominator in their fight. I know it was a little bit of a weight difference, but no, he showed that he does have MMA, pertinent MMA skills, and he's able to bring them he's able to transition from kickboxing to MMA. I haven't seen his chin really be suspect in MMA. Maybe kickboxing, he has a glass chin. Maybe in MMA, since MMA, maybe he doesn't have. Maybe the chin is not so much a worry. I don't know.
I feel like there might have been a moment when Daryl Lococo had him in trouble. I feel like Daryl Lococo had him against the ropes and was kind of unloading on him at times.
But then Lococo let his chin out for a kickboxer, and so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what happens with my left way boys,
Yes. Oh yeah. JayWolf, you about to say something?
Oh no, I was agreeing with CJ that we might see some Beinoa grappling, because I mean he did show some good, like you were saying, Drew. He did show some good skills. I mean, all around skills, mixed martial arts skills. I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to start on the feet. And I'm guessing if Beinoa, like you guys were saying, if Beinoa's chin is, I guess, suspect now, I don't think so, just because he got knocked out by a world-class kickboxer. I mean, but anyways,
he got knocked out by a world-class kickboxer who's not known for his knockout power. That's a problem.
But he still has knockouts. I mean, it's not like he never knocks anybody out. He's the only decision guy. I mean, he does knock people out. I mean, he's a good fighter, and I just don't think Beinoa should be shamed by that. And I just think it's going to be a great bout, you guys. I really do. I think Beinoa is really. It's going to be because you got Joe Patrick's a boxer, like CJ was saying. So they're going to start on the feet and try to strike. And then if Beinoa gets clipped, he might go into defensive wrestling mode. We might get to see some grappling, Beinoa grappling, and see how he's improved on that. I mean, I just think it's going to be a banger all around. It's going to be awesome. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to ask Drew, did we get to rip on the UFC media yet for their lack of coverage of this epic New Year's Eve collaboration mega event?
I'll let you do that when we get to the Bellator Rizin portion.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure.
I'll tell you this. Listen, they were never going to cover the Rizin 40 portion. I ever. So if you want to, whatever, fine. We'll get to that later. But I know also, JayWolf, you don't like doing picks, but I'm gonna. But this is a special show. You have to do picks. I'm assuming we all picked Yushi. I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to assume that. So JayWolf, Beinoa, Usami. Who do you think wins? How? When and how? Why? Who am I? Why am I here?
I'll do picks for the Rizin 40 portion.
But no, Jay, you're going to have to do picks for no. That's the most important part. I won't even have you do picks for this portion if you do picks for the other portion.
No, I can't. Not on the fights I actually care about. Come on.
Yes, you must. Listen, and if I find out you bet on the shows, you better pick the people who you pick on this show, because if you don't, I'm gonna be very pissed off. Anyway,
I never bet on these, especially fights I care about. I just can't risk chinks in anything. So
Beinoa,
for this fight, I'm gonna pick Beinoa by TKO in the second round.
Gotcha. CJ?
Beinoa by rear naked choke.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Jay Krish?
I got Usami winning the fight via knockout. Second round.
Wow. Picking Usami to beat Beinoa. I like it.
Also, just want to say as well.
But that
sorry, go ahead.
That only if Beinoa finds every which way to just simply throw this fight and lose, because we all know that he just basically gasses out when he knows he's doing good.
Yeah, he does. He does have he's also one of those fighters who, like, he'll do great and then get clipped once and then does and is like off his rocker the entire game. Or he's one of those fighters who's doing horribly and then he gets a lucky punch. He's like a weird inverse. By the way, as well, because it is Baynoa, we'll probably get a good entrance as well because it usually comes out with the Karate Kids, comes out the Black Panther. You know what? We know with Black Panther 2 coming out this year, hopefully, he'll have something, special plans or something,
Yeah, hopefully so.
Also,
but again, the Japanese public ain't gonna love him because he just so happens to be mixed and of dual nationality too.
Actually, are they?
If I remember at the match, he had 2 ridiculously hot fans freaking out when he won.
No, wait, he lost. Didn't he lose?
What fight did he? Was it? No, wait. When he knocked out Lukoku, that's what it was. When he knocked out Lukoku, 2 of the Rise Round girls were freaking out in the crowd, and the images are seared in my mind.
So wait, CJ, is Show Patrick? Is he mixed as well? Is he half and half something? Half Japanese, half something else?
I have no idea.
I was gonna say because this would be
I did not know that Black Panther was half, so I don't know if Patrick is half.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they were both mixed. And it's kind of like a weird mixed versus. Anyway, I was just thinking about that. Anyway, Black Panther, second round TKO, I think. While I get to the next card, we do have another question from Falling Star, and they want to know: do you expect any fight reveals will happen this card, like a Super Rizin? Is this
yes.
This is where they could announce Mayweather and Nate Diaz for next year? So JayWolf, obviously you say yes. CJ, you think they'll do any fight announcements for next year already?
No, I think what they'll do is they'll announce maybe they'll introduce some fighters who are expected to fight next year, but they won't say the actual fights themselves. Kind of like they always like to debut, this is a new guy. That's what they did with Miura. They did that with Kaneko Murata.
Hey, a Bonsai guy. They're gonna debut a Bonsai guy. You think?
Maybe. Yeah. Are there any left? And when they brought Suzuki in, I feel like they were really digging to the bottom of the barrel. I think they'll introduce or they'll talk about the Bellator plans in Hawaii.
Yes.
You think they'll do that early?
Oh yeah.
I don't think they're actually going to go to Hawaii this year, but next year. But no, it'll be something like that. Well, they'll tease something. They won't 100% reveal something. They'll tease something.
CJ, you don't think they're actually going to Hawaii?
No, they definitely are. They definitely are. No, I think they definitely will. But whether
why does CJ not think they're going to?
No, I think listen.
Burned too many times, JayWolf.
It's true.
Burned too many times.
Hold on, I'll say this. I'll just say this, and I'll ask
Take
you.
Take some of this opium, brother.
Hold on. It's not that I think they'll announce it. Whether they announce things in a timely manner is a different story. We could get the entire card the week of before March or April, whenever they decide.
No way, you guys. Come on.
This is Rizin we're talking about. Anyway,
the Hawaii event is going to be 2 events. Like how Bellator, when they go to Hawaii, they do 2 events. They do one for the troops and then the big numbered event. It's going to be the same thing for the Epic Rizin collaboration. They're going to have one for the troops and one for the big main card. They're going to have some announcements on this.
Yes, they will. They will. But whether it's announced, I don't think. Listen, Rizin's just they're like me in college. They are very what's the word when you're always when you're always yes, they procrastinate a lot. They're like me in college. I could kind of emphasize that. Jay Chris, do you think they'll announce any fights?
You know what? I don't think they'll announce any fights on this show for obvious reasons, because of the fact that this is New Year's Eve and they want to at least wait until we get into the new year, 6 weeks into the new year, just to start announcing fights. Maybe right after the first event. No, maybe right after the first week of 2023, we'll start seeing fights. But it got me kind of thinking. We were supposed to have seen 2 fighters, 2 debut in Rizin so far this year, as far as who was supposed to be off of that show last year. All we got was 1, and that 1 was Taka Kenshin. There was another fighter that was supposed to be making their debut in Rizin.
Oh, yes.
Saito Sayama, the son of the original Tiger Mask. What the hell happened there?
Are you saying that Rizin announces things that don't happen?
Listen, the Taka Kenshin thing, first of all, that was a failure. It is a failure. It's awful. Anyway, I think, isn't he fighting on Ganryu Jima? I think as well.
Yes, he is.
Great. He's fighting Mr. X. He's fighting some X. I remember now. I think, right?
He's fighting.
Wait, that's going to be who the fighter reveal at this Epic Rizin 40 is going to be Fighter X.
Yeah.
Sayama's son is fighting the same week that One Championship's releasing that video game they were talking about.
Oh yes.
Hey Drew, can I say what my predictions are for the reveal? I think it's going to be, if not the Hawaii events, they're going to talk about how next year they're going to do a flyweight Grand Prix, and then for the Bellator portion, they're going to do some reveals about. Possibly all kind. Who knows? I think they'll do some more stuff for sure about the February 4th big CBS event. But Bellator might do like.
They're not going to mention anything about about that CBS event, JayWolf.
Yes, are you kidding me? Because they're going to be hyping it the entire time.
CJ, will the Japanese commentate? Listen, okay, you got to make a bet with CJ. If they mention about like something like you got to send him like $100 or something that like on Japanese commentary. Well, hold on, you won't be watching a lot. Oh wait, you won't be watching it on Japanese.
There is better odds of Bjorn Rebney being lowered from the ceiling with a steel chair and hitting Scott Coker in the head and announcing he's the new head of Bellator again than what you just described is happening.
No, I tell you, it's like on you next is going to be the commercial for the big CBS event February 4th during the Rizin versus Bellator portion. They're gonna hype that event, guaranteed, because that's Bellator's next event. They got to. And also, what I'm thinking, I'm hoping they're gonna do is Scotty Cokes is gonna announce the third event. The third fight for that February 4th event on CBS is gonna. I'm hoping it's gonna be an announcement of a big signing like possibly Eddie Alvarez, and their lightweight Grand Prix will be the third bout on the big CBS event. And I'm hoping
Bellator announcement would be them talking about Rising and Bellator co-promoting the Hawaii show together.
Maybe. You don't think they'll announce any bouts for that?
If Bellator announces something, that is what it would be.
No, not at this point. JayWolf, they probably don't even know where they're putting the show on at this point. This is Rizin we're talking about. Bellator maybe knows. Rizin doesn't know or hasn't even looked into it yet. That's the honest answer. Like, come on.
Rizin doesn't even know how they're going to pay the fighters on this event. Like, if they don't know about the event after this event.
I'm just thinking, Andrew, speaking of things so successful.
Sorry, Chris, go ahead, Chris.
Speaking of things that we don't know nothing about, Ren Hiramoto is going to be facing off against this mystery opponent, this X, so to speak. Any speculation as to who X might be and how quick this fight will last?
Before we get into that,
boring.
Hold on. We got two comments about that in the chat. That's why I want to move on this fight. So Falling Star says, "Who do you think who will be X?" And they say they feel it'll be tension. But he feels it'll be tension because it'll do a huge favor for the promoter who did more to make him a star than whatever Rise did. And then Oshan says, if it is tension, Rise will promote that as soon as possible because the ticket is not sold out yet. Can you confirm that, CJ? Are tickets sold out for the show?
No, they're not. If it was tension, they would have. The thing with Mr. X thing, the reason it's stupid is because it kind of reveals if it was somebody famous.
I just want to quickly say Oshan thinks it'll be Genji Umeno, which I don't think it will be. But sorry, go ahead, CJ.
I agree with Oshan. I think it'll be someone like that.
Really? Okay.
Because if it was somebody famous, they're still trying to sell tickets and they want to sell pay-per-views. They're If it was tension, they'd be broadcasting the shit out of it. It wouldn't be a surprise that he would be the biggest name on the card. Yeah. Like he would be the front of the poster now. Like, no, it's going to be someone mediocre, like they just suggested. It's not going to be who was the last Mr. X? Hiroya?
Yes. Gomi.
No, yeah, it was Gomi. I'm sorry, Gomi for Cozy.
It was Gomi, Tokoro, and...
No, wasn't it Cozy versus Gomi? Wasn't it Cozy taking on X?
I thought the last Mr. X thing was the tension versus three people.
Oh, you might be right. No, Shibatar. It was Shibatar and Kubo, right?
No, that wasn't. It was Shibatar versus Hiroya.
Yes. Okay, that was the first one. That was the first thing. This is becoming a tradition apparently at New Year's Eve is having an X.
But what it shows is it's never someone. It's someone people know, but it's not someone who's like super famous because they would want to promote that someone's super famous on the card.
True. That's absolutely true. No, that's promoting 101. Is that if it's somebody really famous, you don't make it a secret. So it's.
Do you think it'll be Gomi again? Think it could be Gomi again or no?
No, I think the Umeno guess is pretty close to right.
Okay.
So we've seen Genji Umeno. I've seen Gomi. I saw somebody suggest Bobby Ulligan. I don't know if they were joking.
Isn't Bobby Ulligan like massive? He's so much bigger than Ren.
Yes, but it'd be hilarious nonetheless. Someone, one of the kickboxing people, might have been Dogman or Apparatus said, they would be fervently like looking through Rukia on post Twitter. That's the whole thing. A bunch of K1 guys just also left recently as well.
Right.
And so there was
It's like a
speculation.
sinking ship.
Yeah, so for good reason. So there's some speculation that maybe a former K1 fighter. I don't know exactly if there's a no compete or anything like that. I saw someone think, what about Tokoro? And I was like, fuck, if that's Tokoro, if it's Tokoro, I want Rizin to close up shop immediately because you just literally just took the biggest fight and you just made it an X. You idiots.
You know what? Come to think of it, it could be Koji.
No. You want to promote that. You'd want people to buy tickets to it.
Well, how? I mean, isn't it very close to sold out already, CJ?
But it's not sold out.
It's not sold out.
Yeah, well, there's just a couple tickets left, right? And like the S400 tier and way up in nosebleeds or whatever. So it's pretty much sold out.
I think almost all of the sections still have tickets left.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
So,
the rumor that I heard, I don't know if Drew heard the same rumor, is that the tickets weren't selling so well, which is why they put Ren on the show.
Yes, that's why I heard, and that's why they're kind of doing this little gimmick thing. Even though this seems to be a yearly New Year's thing, is to have someone versus X. And
the rumor is that even though Ren is still injured, and Kai is injured, that they weren't selling enough tickets, and so they needed someone with some name value to put on the card, which is why this is like a weird standing special rules bout. Which
is fine, it's fine. I don't have a problem with it from a promoting perspective, but this also puts into a greater context for the pastimes for the past two New Year's Eve shows and a post Fuji TV world where I don't know. Would CJ by now were the previous two New Year's Eve shows already sold out or close to sold out?
I think they sold out. They sold out quite quickly, I would imagine. I've never heard them not selling out. I think they sold out pretty quickly.
Yeah. So I don't think
that all comes. I don't want to be a broken record, but that all comes back to the fact that there is no giant star on this card yet. Rin Hitamoto is the closest thing to a giant star on it.
Yeah.
All the other ones had numerous people.
Yeah, that's true as well. That's also true as well.
I just can't believe that, man. With all these Bellator superstars coming over, fighting the
I've never heard the term Bellator and superstar ever used in the same sentence. Bro, Please never say it ever again.
Pound for pound Pitbull is a superstar.
But no, listen, Jay, they are great fighters, but they are not known. Listen, I'll give you this. Maybe Patricio's known, Pitbull's known here. I don't think. Listen, I can't tell the difference between two, so I'll just say Pitbull in general. But in Japan, listen, I'm pretty sure. CJ, you can probably you can confirm, and we always like to do the Mrs. CJ test. What does Mrs. CJ say about Bellator versus Rizin?
She doesn't know any of these Bellator fighters. She doesn't know them. I mean, Japan is such an island mindset.
Yes.
Like, if you mentioned any UFC champion to a casual person, they've never heard of them. If you mention them to a Rising fan, there's like a 50-50 shot. They've never heard of them. And so Bellator, if they competed in Rising before, they've heard of them. But outside of that, they're just a foreigner who they hear is good.
All right. I mean,
so it's not an insult, CJ, just more kind of just a fact. It doesn't mean that they suck as a fighter.
It's not disrespectful. It's just they aren't. I mean, what are they going to sit up and watch all the Bellator shows?
Here's a great example. I'll give you an example. Chris, you follow the voice acting community a lot, right? Or you're familiar with a lot of voice actors, right? Listen, I don't know a lot of voice. I don't know a lot of voice actors. I'll tell you the ones I know of: Nolan North and Troy Baker, and then maybe like somebody else. But that doesn't mean that, like, if you say, "Hey Andrew, you should listen to this voice actor who does this voice on this show," it doesn't mean that they're any.
You know what, dude? Considering the fact that you are a SAG-AFTRA committee member, you should be clamoring to them to have just a meeting with some of these people.
But it's like I'm just talking about, like, there's that level between like some like Mikuru, who's known in Japan, versus Pitbull. It doesn't mean that Pitbull is any less of a fighter. He's just not known. He's not selling tickets. He's not moving tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can't believe that, man. I mean, this is in the Almighty Pride FC days. They had a bunch of foreigners there.
30 years ago. That was 30 years ago.
But JayWolf, it's different. That was during the MMA boom of Japan. and B, those people were doing commercials over here. They were regularly competing.
Yes.
Most of these Bellator people have never fought in Japan before.
Yeah. Here's the other thing as well about
All
Jay.
right.
So in that era, there was almost a fetish like thing with the foreigner, with the big juicy foreigner. That's why Wanderlei was doing commercials there. Bob Sapp was doing commercials.
Oh my God.
I've actually seen Bob Sapp branded dildos for sale at shops in Japan.
Actually, when
I remember Wanderlei Silva and Mark Coleman doing a Schick commercial.
yeah,
Where they kept rubbing each other's faces.
I'll tell you this, Jay. When Pitbull has his own dildos available in Shinjuku,
They don't know who made it, right?
yes, okay. So going
The
back
Pitbull
on
brand, it bites back.
exactly.
Oh shit! You guys are
So-
hilarious.
So speaking of X, so okay, I want to see if I could get a final pick on who will be. CJ, you said you think it'll be Genji?
Yeah.
God, that'll be like, oh God, that'd be so bad. Not that Genji's he's not a bad fighter. It's just like
He's just gotten popular enough to make him interesting, but he also isn't like worth promoting, if that makes any sense.
Jay, who do you think it'll be?
I'm hoping I'm gonna go with the positive pick, and I'm hoping it's Tenshin's boxing debut, and it's gonna be a huge fight. And CJ's gonna be sitting there ripping them afterwards, going, "Why didn't you promote this earlier and have it a Mr. X guy?" Instead?
That'd be worse if it's Tension though. That'd be worse.
Hey, but how much fun would that be? That'd be so fun.
Jay Krish, who do you think it'll be?
I mean, it's probably not gonna be Koji Tanaka, but I mean, it's like you said, Andrew. There are plenty of guys that just left K1 recently, especially from the Try Hard gym. I'm pretty sure we'll see some of those guys, or one of those guys, look to debut against Ren Hiromoto. But as far as the fight is concerned, meh, I really don't care. I mean, I know it's a showcase for Ren Hiromoto, but if the fight's not compelling, why the hell should I care?
Because
I don't think it's a showcase. I think it's a holy shit. We got to move some tickets.
Yeah, it's to get Ren on the show. We need it's it's to get tickets moving and maybe also put Ren on the show. I could see it being both. Even if the show was sold out, I could still see him wanting to put Ren on the show. But being that they're not moving tickets, it makes more sense to put him on. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go over outside the box. I'm just gonna say Gomi. Because we haven't heard from him. We haven't heard from him in a while. I think he's not. I think he's at the level where you can make it an X and it'll be like, oh, it's like a nice balance between semi-famous as famous enough to do an X, but get away with it without promoting it. I think
he better be drunk.
I hope so too. Listen, if it's like Rukia Anpo or someone from K1 or Tenshin, I'm just gonna be like, Rizin, you need to go out of business. Let Chachi buy it because you just we don't.
No, hell no! Don't ever talk like that again.
And
also about the tickets, CJ is like, okay, I know you don't know exactly how many are left and stuff, and how many, but are these like more expensive tickets than normal? It's got to be. I mean,
yeah, they're more. This event's insanely expensive.
Okay, that's got to be part of the reason why. Then it's got to be.
Well, also in fairness, I don't know how they're promoting the show in Japan, CJ. I'm pretty sure if we're on Fuji TV has commercials for them. So that's maybe another thing. Am I right? Will they have?
So my thing is, I don't think Fuji TV would promote it, obviously, and they'd have people on like variety shows and stuff. I don't think they made a lot of money from Fuji TV directly. But I think because they were on Fuji TV, they were able to charge advertisers more for like the branding inside of the ring and things like that.
It's also
So
I was also gonna say it's New. So I mean, there's a lot of shows going on New Year's Eve, just
Right.
all types of shows. I mean, we had Pancreas, we have Gan Ryojima. There's other stuff that's going on. New Year's Eve that's like almost like a Black Friday equivalent.
It's the big daddy of them all, as they would say, when it comes to TV in Japan.
Yeah,
they're all competing. In the past, they had like that Don't Laugh TV show. They would have like the unathletic people doing sports, which is my favorite. They have the giant singing competition. They have a bunch of variety shows. I mean, there's a bunch of really popular TV shows going on, and this is going to struggle to break into that percentage.
So yeah, there's could be many reasons why, but I think mainly because there's not like an Asuka or a big person on it. Actually, I should take that back. There is a big star on this show, and his name's not Ren Hiramoto. His name's Chihiro Suzuki, because he's currently in a scandal right now, or still in a scandal right now, right, CJ?
Hey man, he didn't do anything wrong. He just hooked up with a hot MILF who stole $10 million and used her contacts to get him into the promotion. And then, I mean, Suzuki's had a great year, actually. Inside of the
I'll
ring.
say this.
Inside of the ring,
player,
he's had a great year.
One of the low-key, highlights of Rizin this year, surprisingly. But sorry, CJ, go ahead.
No, who did it? I always was under the impression he was kind of brought into Rising to lose with the way the matchmaking was done. And what is he, 4-0 this year? He's had a great year.
He took the Inawari fight on about a week or so notice.
And he choked out Hagiwara.
Yes, he choked out Hagiwara.
He beat Hiramoto.
He beat Hiramoto as well this year, and then he Imanari was the latest fight that he had. Oh, he beat didn't he beat Yamamoto? Sora Yamamoto, I think.
He's beat him every one of these matches. I think it's a match that Rising wanted the other person to win. Yeah. And he keeps winning, so good for him.
And then we got Yoshiki Nakahara, who had the amazing soccer kick finish from the last Rizin show. Actually, they're both on the same card, I think. I think it was all on the same show, if I remember correctly. Rizin
Trigger Bastard show.
Rizin Landfill.
Yeah.
Rizin
Landmark, one of the best events of the year. Multiple fight of the year candidates. Several, almost every single bout had superior rule set action in it, including the 12-6 elbow TKO from Kubo.
That was cool. That was cool. Yeah, Kubo's pretty badass.
It had everything was on that Landmark card. Landmark, Epic Rizin Landmark, the new Cage series.
So
Landfill.
Hey, the Cage rules, you guys. You see all the action it produces.
Well, I'll say this. Listen. You use a cage to hold the landfill. If you put it in the ring, it'll fall out in between the rings. It can't fall out of the cage. So
I love the original Landfill so much, and they killed it. They destroyed my baby.
Well, how come you like the landmarks? Geez, you guys almost got me to say it. But the original Landmark was only like 4 or 5 fights, and now the most recent one where they took over the Trigger and did the cage events. It had like 12, 15 bouts almost on it, wasn't it? Something like that. It was definitely over 10.
It was the Trigger show.
The original Landmark was the closest I'll ever get to watching what happened in the movie Lionheart in real life, where a bunch of rich people are in a circle watching people fight in a sewer. The original Landmark is the closest I'll ever get to that, and I loved it.
Yeah. Jay Krish, I want to pose it to you. What do you think about Chihiro Suzuki's year, and how do you think this fight will go?
Well, as CJ documented, Chihiro Suzuki's year has been pretty controversial, to say the least. I mean, if you think about it, I'm surprised he's even on this card at all, because of the fact that he did manage to get himself into plenty of controversy. But I do think that this isn't going to mess up this fight for him. And it's not going to mess up his future, because the broad that he done business with is now in jail for fraud. Am I right, CJ, or am I wrong?
She's in jail. She's in jail. You can always steal $9 million and not get away with it. She was too greedy.
Exactly. Now, as far as Yoshiki Nakahara goes, even though he's an alum of that damned one championship, he's managed to make his way back into JMMA relevancy and, scrape off a couple of good fights. Even though it was a mixed bag, I mean, the dude's still trying to be active, so to speak.
Wait, Jay Krish, Jay Chris, I need to steal your swag real quick and interrupt like you like to do sometimes. Did you say that he is on loan from one championship right now?
No, he's not.
No, he used to fight in one championship.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's actually pretty cool if they're like working together, getting loaning out fighters.
I mean, come to think of it, the only fighter I know that's probably on loan right now by that damned one championship is probably Masakazu Inawari, but only for grappling.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. All right. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. It's okay, man. But the point of the matter is, I do think that this fight, Nakahara versus Chihiro Suzuki is going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to enjoy, but I do think that when it comes down to it at the end of the day, Chihiro's got the upper hand because he's been in more firefights this year more than anything. So I think he's going to probably win this one via second round submission.
Jay, how do you think this fight will go?
Yeah, I'm definitely going for Suzuki. I mean, he's been very impressive. Like you guys were saying, he's beaten Ren, beaten Hajiwara. I mean, beaten everybody. I was actually going to look it up real quick here and see, who the other ones were for you, Drew. I got it on here. But anyways, I'm going for Suzuki. I think he's a great kickboxing crossover fighter. Even though his opponent, like you said, he's got a great soccer kick knockout. I love my soccer kick knockout victors. So I mean, it's hard to pick one in this one, but I'm just gonna have to go with Suzuki. I mean, he's like you said, he had a great year, and he's just been doing upset after upset, and now it's now New Year's Eve. So I mean, he's gonna want to put on the best performance of the year. So he's coming to fight. I can just feel it. So I'm picking Suzuki, and I think it's gonna be a great brawl. So I'm looking forward to it.
CJ?
Suzuki all the way. I mean, he's got the potential. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I think Suzuki's got this. I'll say this. While Nakahara's win was over kind of a guy who was, I don't want to say wasn't the best. I don't know. Suzuki's been on such a run, man. It's the most surprising run of 2020 for Rizin. He's totally stolen. He's like, I don't know if a win over this would get him a title shot, but he is pretty darn close if he wins this. I would say he's pretty darn close to getting a title shot. Or at least should be.
I guess. I think so too, Drew.
Sorry, go ahead.
Definitely has the potential to do it. Yeah.
I was trying to look up his record, and what's crazy? You guys were saying about Tapology earlier. They don't even have his fight listed on here. What the heck?
Yeah. Tapology's all fucked up. It's all fucked up. It's really like. Just go on SureDog. SureDog is actually has the most up to dates.
Yeah, but I don't like to because remember they got rid of Jeff Sherwood.
I know, but like SureDog's actually like doing like putting like they actually had the Pancreas show, and I was able to see who's fighting. Yeah. They didn't have the entire Pancreas show, but I at least knew they at least 10 fights of that like.
Okay. All right. I mean,
the Tapology Japanese MMA section seems to be like a hamster in a wheel right now. Just. Putting random words.
I don't even think they don't even have the latest Deep show. I don't think CJ.
Yeah,
or the last Deep show that happened.
Usually they're so good. I don't get that. Well, I don't know why they're doing that. I mean, but whatever. I mean, SureDog, they do have.
I heard the UFC paid Tapology some money to kind of ignore the Japanese MMA promotions.
That's exactly what happened, CJ. You got it right on the nail on the head. Fucking Dingleberry Dana.
Just quickly, I'm going to say Suzuki. Third round submission. I'm gonna say third round submission.
All right, here. I got
it
on.
Just to make sure you guys are aware that the promotion that the woman owned was called Potential, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's why I keep saying that. Okay, good. Just so I don't sound like an idiot.
No. But did Potential sponsor Rizin? Because I don't remember seeing them.
They were the sponsor of the Trigger series.
Okay, they were. Oh, why do I not remember seeing them?
That's why Trigger doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
Damn it.
Oh yeah.
That damn woman. That's okay. Thank you for Landmark.
You should be thanking her. That money paid for a lot of good fights.
Okay, well, actually, thank you, man. Appreciate that.
I'll say that
they still got They still got trigger for it in Landmark now.
When it comes to good fights, though, I have to say though, this fight went from like a fight I was really looking forward to a fight that's like, what the fuck. And
I don't give a shit about this fight.
Jay Chris, I know you're talking to Johnny Case. And I know you'll definitely be, I'm curious to know what he's going to say about the change in opponents. I mean, what do you think? Come on, going from Gustavo to Tyson Osawa. That's like, oh, by the way, shout out to Gustavo. I think he tore his bicep. I think that's what I heard. Oh, that's what was translated. So hopefully he recovers. But yeah, Jay Chris, what do you think about this? This fight this went from being maybe my third, maybe most anticipated fight to just like, I think less than Yushi's fight I care about than this one.
Well, in a way, Luis Gustavo, I don't know if he dodged the bullet or not. I think that he basically, I wouldn't say saved his own ass. I would basically say save the fighter's energy. Save the fight fans' energy, because he was going to be going into this fight with Johnny Case, as a killer, as a mercenary. And this fight was just going to be an epic knockdown, drag out brawl from bell to bell. But since he has a bicep injury, and we hope for the best for him, we hope that he is okay. Please get well soon, Luis. I don't know how that translates in Portuguese, but hey, we want to see your ass back in the Rizin ring or cage one of these days, hopefully in the next 6 months. But yeah, I have to agree with you, Andrew. This fight has gone from interesting to dog shit in the course of 48 hours, or the amount of time this bout has been announced. And I'm not trying to bash Johnny Case. I'm basically trying to bash Noble Misu Tyson Osawa. Because the last time he was in the Rizin ring, we all know he got whooped by Tofik Musayev, and that's what led to Musayev going on that fantastic run of his 3 years ago. But it all started 4 years ago when Musayev was making his Rizin debut on a New Year's Eve card. And now here comes Tyson Osawa back again, looking to take another beatdown for another payday. But hey, hopefully he'll lead the plates at home.
Yeah, Jay, I think I'm pretty sure you can find a way to somehow sell this fight.
Oh yes, here.
How?
Gladly. I'm just happy that
CJ,
Tyson...
be prepared. Be prepared for this. I want to hear this.
You're gonna hold up that lie sign, are you again, CJ?
No, I erased it.
Okay. But hey, this bout, I don't want to hate on Tyson Osawa too much, because look, he did step up and he kept Johnny Case on the card. I mean, so I think he should get some props for that, and I'm going to give him props for that, because I'm glad that Johnny Case is still on the card. This is we've been asking, ever since the stupid COVID, the restrictions have been lifted, and now we're finally getting international fighters back to Epic Rizin. And so this keeps one of those international fighters on the card. So, I mean, props to Tyson for stepping up. And I think it's going to be a good bout. I mean, it's not like, just because he lost to
will it be as competitive as Case versus Gustavo could have been? No.
Case versus Gustavo was going to be one of the bangers of the night. That was probably one of the ones that I was most looking forward to on the Rizin 40 portion. And I mean, well, there's the other couple great ones on there as well, which we're getting to after this. But I mean, that was definitely one of the top bouts on the Rizin 40 portion. But I'm just glad that Johnny Case is still on there, and it didn't get the bout didn't get scrapped completely. And I think it's going to be good, because I mean, dude, that's what we want to see. We want to see the foreign fighters get unleashed on the superior rule set, and it's still cool, even though it's just not as cool as if he was facing Gustavo. It's still cool that he's on the card fighting. So, and the superior rule set. So okay. That's how I'm going to spin it positive.
Fair enough. CJ, now spin this fight as negatively as possible.
Yeah, this fight is shit. I will say JayWolf talks about foreign fighters and all that in Japan all the time. Johnny Case has fought enough times in Japan that he's actually pretty popular. He's got some fans in Japan, so I'm sure
he's also staying in Japan or living in Japan. With training with
Satoshi, yeah. That's how it works, you know.
Does he still rep America?
I heard he ripped his visa up and is just Japanese now.
Hey, as long as he walks out and the announcer's announcing that's fighting from America.
No, but no. I mean, Johnny Case is fine, but it's just the weird opponent. Jay's kind of right. Like, beggars can't be choosers. They originally put him in an awesome matchup, and that's why this just looks like dog shit. But it is what it is. Johnny Case can get this win, and hopefully he can fight Gustavo in the future. I don't think a bicep takes what does that take to heal?
I was gonna
6
say,
months?
why couldn't you have gone like Jiri Ohara or somebody like that? I'm sure Jiri
It was
would have
too
said, yeah.
late to notice. It was like less than 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Don't do that to O'Hara. He's a sweet boy.
Oh, you know what? How about you just call Kitaoka? Call Kitaoka. Apparently he's still fighting. Do that.
Hey, he retired 3 fights ago.
Oh, he did? I'm sorry. Nobody told me.
Yeah, Kitaoka retired, but I'm pretty sure he would still take a good paycheck. As far as Nobumitsu Tyson Osawa goes, of course. But as far as Nobumitsu Tyson Osawa goes, yeah, I know that he's on a brief winning streak since he got whooped by Tofik Musayev, but he's not the right fighter for this fight.
Yeah, it's just I don't hold Rizin responsible or Johnny Case, you know, or whatever. Or even I'm not even. It's just like it's basically taking a fight that like really was really compelling, and like I legitimately think that Johnny Case is gonna walk through him first round knockout. I mean, just look at that, 19 knockouts, 7 KOs, I just don't see that there's any way for Osawa to win this. Jay, what are your predictions?
Oh, Johnny Case, all the way. You know, I always root for my American fighters. Always.
CJ?
Johnny Case. Not even close.
Jay Krish?
Johnny Case, 1 round, out of there.
One and done. Listen, if I'm Johnny, you know, I'm like, I got an easier fight this time. So, you know, listen, he should be happy because he's got.
Oh yeah.
He got it very easy. I don't see how. Maybe listen, it's MMA. Anything can happen. Who the fuck knows? Maybe it'll actually be competitive. Probably not. Anyway, fight I'm looking forward to. This one. This one's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. The dawn of what's supposed to be Rizin's flyweight division.
Yes.
The human octopus Hideo Tokoro versus the magician John Dodson, the former 2-time UFC flyweight title challenger.
Yeah, so I gotta ask you. Sorry, CJ, I just dropped some stuff. I mean, what do you think about this fight? Is this fight getting our casuals talking about this in Japan? I hope.
I don't think so. But I will say the Rising Confession video was like Japanese MMA porn to me. Watching like all the people he was training with, when it was like Imanari, Omigawa, and all those guys just rolling up to train with him, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. So it's just amazing to see all those legends.
Did you also see the other videos they did interviews with Junior Taffa? I forgot the guy's name, the announcer. Who he did interviews with Taffa and Dodson. And Dodson was talking about like, you know, how he started out like at Chuck E. Cheese's, you know.
Yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about, Andrew.
Yeah.
John Dodson, before the fame, before being in the UFC, before, you know, all that comes with being a fighter, he was a wrestler and, well, actually, he was a college wrestler struggling at the University of New Mexico. So he had to work a second job at a Chuck E. Cheese.
Hold on, Chris, I'm sorry. Hold on. I just noticed something on this graphic. Does it say that it says John Dodson is 6'2"?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a giant.
He's very tall. He's very tall man for the featherweight division.
He's closer to 2'6" than he is 6'2".
I was going to say, it is 6 instead of the 5 right there.
Jay, so hold on, Jay, this is the company you expect to get everything in order for Hawaii by this week when they're saying John Dodson is 6'2".
Oh yeah, not only that, not only the Hawaii announcements, maybe even after the John Dodson debut, they're going to make the announcement for the next year's Flyweight Grand Prix. That's going to be the big announcement.
We'll include 6'2" John Dodson.
Yes, absolutely. He might even grow a couple of feet and go up to 8'2" by the time fight time comes. Who knows?
I'm sorry, Jay Krish. I just noticed that and I just had to point out. Sorry, Trish. Jay Krish, go ahead.
Yeah, but still though, John Dodson started off playing. Well, actually, John Dodson started off his journey in the fight world, basically being a mascot. And you know what? I have to apologize for the typo. He's not 6'2". He's 5'3". Okay.
Okay, it was 5'2".
So he's neither one of the numbers that are up there. He got both of them wrong.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, he's the same height as me. It's just that I'm 35 pounds heavier.
My
but
God.
Still,
okay. Jesus. Okay. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Point of the matter is, the dude started off dressed up as a cartoon rat, so to speak, and now look at where he is now. 2-time UFC title challenger, bare knuckle boxer. Hell, probably actually wanted to be a boxer. And oh, by the way, in case you didn't know, he's half black, half Filipino, so he's representing for 2 cultures. But still, though, point of the matter is, ever since he got out the UFC, he's been having a mixed bag, and I keep saying that a lot, but it's really true in this case. He fought for XMMA, the promotion out of Canada, who now has shows in Florida. You know, actually in Florida and Louisiana. He lost to Cody the Renegade Gibson back on October 23rd of 2021, beat up Cisco Rivera in New Orleans on April 2nd. But also, he has a bludgeoning bare-knuckle boxing career going on as well, recently knocking out Ryan Babyface Benoit at BKFC 28 on August 27th. So now that leads me to ask, with all of that experience fighting, you know, inside the UFC and outside the UFC, winning the Ultimate Fighter, becoming a 2-time flyweight title challenger, and now fighting in bare knuckle boxing, do you think that Dodson would at least stand a chance against the human octopus?
I also just want to point out as well, at the time that he was fighting, when the flyweight division was being, ruled by DJ, up until he lost to Cejudo, he was probably the one guy who actually was able to go toe-to-toe with DJ the 2 times that they fought, and actually looked not bad against him. Just that DJ did more, but that Dodson was the one guy in flyweight who didn't. Even Kyoji got finished by DJ. He could never finish Dodson. I don't think actually Dodson's ever been finished, now if I remember correctly.
He's never been. I checked this morning. He's never been finished.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the fact, and this is when DJ was, he did the thing, the suplex armbar to Ray Borg, armbar to Kyoji. He knocked out Cejudo the first time. Yeah, so he was one of the few guys that actually survived against him. Benavidez. Benavidez got knocked out by him as well, DJ. So yeah, CJ, I'll pose it to you first. What do you think about this? Do you think the Dodson, this experience will help him? And as well, keep in mind, he hasn't done MMA, full-fledged MMA in quite a while. I think it's been. Oh wait, no,
he had an MMA fight this year.
Oh yeah, no. I thought,
I said, he's 1-1 outside the octagon.
I thought it happened last year. I thought it happened
in April. It happened in April.
Yeah, but CJ, go ahead.
This is a terrible matchup for Tokoro. I mean, Dodson's never been submitted. Dodson's fight style, from what I remember, is he likes to sit on the outside.
Yeah.
And kind of.
He's a Jackson Winklejohn fighter.
Yeah. I would say the closest example would be Horiguchi. He sits on the outside and he leaps in with his punches. And that's just a terrible matchup for Tokoro. So, plus, I mean, Dodson's 38 years old, Tokoro, he's older, but Tokoro's 45. So, I mean, it's not like he's fighting some spring chicken. So, I got to see Dodson win it. I love Tokoro so much and his Magic Mirror collection, but I think Dodson's going to win this fight by knockout.
JayWolf.
Oh yeah, I'm going with John Dodson as well. I mean, did you guys see the interview that he did where they asked him about now he gets to throw soccer kicks, and he was just giggling with excitement at just the mere mention of soccer kicks. So I mean, he's going to come there, and I mean, like CJ was saying, I mean, Tokoro, God bless him, but he's probably going to have a bad night, man. I mean, Dodson's just going to come in there, make a big splash, and I'm you know what? You want predictions? How about first round KO via soccer kick? There you go.
I don't think Dodson's ever made a big splash in his life. The guy's like 4 feet tall.
He's 6'2". He's 6'2", CJ.
He's gonna make a big cannonball splash right here, CJ. This is a showcase. This is a Japanese whatchamacallit, where they not a showcase, but like I guess coming out party or something, or like big
He's actually
reveal.
Fought in Japan before. He fought in Japan near the beginning of his career.
Did he?
Lost.
Oh. Yeah, he lost.
Oh, well, okay. Well, it'll be his big return then. To Japan, and I think it's going to be big.
When he wins, JayWolf, is he going to pull out the Pop Rocks?
Absolutely. To pull out the Pop Rocks, he's going to pull Pop Rocks. He's going to promote the next year's Flyweight Grand Prix in the Epic Rizin. He's going to make some call outs. Probably going to call a Horiguchi or somebody, and yeah, he's gonna do all that. It's gonna be great. I can't wait.
Didn't he used to be sponsored by Pop Rocks?
Did he? That'd be great. Hopefully it was. Maybe he isn't still.
Like he used to pull Pop Rocks out at his fights.
Yeah.
Jay Krish, you were gonna say something?
I mean, come to think of it, y'all are right. This will be his first fight, Dodson's first fight in Japan since losing to fellow UFC future ex-fighter Yasuhiro Urushitani back on November 14th, 2004. That was 18 damn years ago.
I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised that Rizin didn't try to book that. I'm surprised Rizin didn't try to book that rematch. I'm like, that seems like up Rizin's wheelhouse to like, hey, you fought 18 years ago and you beat this guy. Let's have a rematch on you.
Well, tough titties because of the fact that Urushitani retired almost a decade ago.
Hey, listen, that doesn't stop
Dodson
anybody.
Supposed to fight Horiguchi like a year ago.
Yeah, but COVID things happen, unfortunately.
Yep.
Jay Krish, I'll ask you, who do you think will win this fight?
I mean, in a way, it's like y'all said, Tokoro's 45. I mean, yeah, he'll probably be the Tom Brady of MMA in this case and fight until they put him in the ground. Like, basically, you know, what Manoa Man's doing. But still, though, there's a time and a place for his capabilities. I just don't think that New Year's Eve 2022 won't be that time. And the Saitama Super Arena won't be that place. Because I think that even though John Dodson has 12 finishes, 10 via knockout, I think this fight probably won't last. I think this fight probably at best won't last 2 rounds before knockout happens. And I think that John Dodson's going to be the one providing it.
You're all a bunch of haters. I'm going to say Tokoro's going to submit him in the first round. First person ever beat Dodson, finish Dodson. Fuck all y'all haters. Listen.
That's right.
Bullshit. I don't care. Tokoro.
But you know what? It's funny you say that now. Oh, Tokoro's going to win via submission. Because let's face facts here. You got this fight between Tokoro and Dodson. Then you got the next fight. I think that's going to be, I mean, obviously, you got this fight between Tokoro and Dodson. You got possibly Yuki Motoya versus Rogelio Bontohim, which is the next fight we're going to talk about, even though that's at 61 kilos, not 57, 134 and a half pounds, not 125. I mean, let's just say the Flyweight Grand Prix were to start immediately after this fight. And one of those guys, Motoya or Bontohim, is one of the participants in that tournament. Would you say that a win for Dodson and a win for Bontohim or Motoya would see them as the clear-cut favorites for a flyweight Grand Prix.
Well, I assume that the winner, if there is a Grand Prix, if the winner of this will be in it. Actually, then again, listen, Rizin can do whatever the fuck they want. They probably, if Tokoro does lose, they probably will put him in. I don't know if Dodson loses, they would put him in, but I definitely think the winner would be in this flyweight Grand Prix. This fight. Listen, but I'm a sucker for the old guys. I love that video, CJ, the confessions where he and Nakamura and Yano and Inawari all hanging out, Nakahara all hanging out like old men, heel hooking each other. Old men here on the streets play checkers. They're heel hooking each other, and it was sad. It was funny how like during the video, I think his coach was like, "Will this be your last fight?" And then, no. It was during when he was doing the ride, like the Rizin interview portion, and he was crying because the room was so dark.
Hey, yeah, I mean, Tokoro's a man of many emotions.
But listen, this fight's gonna be awesome. I don't care what anybody says. I think this. Listen, and here's the other thing as well. Shinryu couldn't even finish Tokoro, so how can Dodson even finish Tokoro
with a soccer kick or a stomp? The superior rule set, the game changer.
Poirier could finish him.
Was that? Oh, okay.
Poirier
That's
could finish him.
a different type of finish. That's a different type of finish.
Bring it, CJ.
By the way, conspicuous by his absence, does anybody know what's happened for Poirier? This guy was like on an incredible streak as soon as he comes out and just disappeared. CJ, do you know what's going on with him?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't think he was especially. There's a lot of interest in him, to be honest.
I figure that TB doing something for Pancreas or Rizin. Okay, whatever. Who knows?
Someone needs to give him a
Maybe
hand.
Maybe he's back to his old work. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's more money in that apparently. Well, hopefully he's not faking signatures. For Rizin, Rizin fighters. I guess also when it comes to fights, I really don't care about. I guess I have to put this in this as well. Montoya versus Rogerio Balturian.
What?
No.
What? How? What? Drew, what do you mean? How can you not, dude? You don't like this bout? Are you kidding me?
Hold on, CJ, sell me on this fight.
What? I fucking hate Montoya. I don't.
Exactly. Good point.
Oh my goodness. Let me go ahead and sell it for you. Montoya is a former 2-division deep champion. Rogelio Bontohim, who I spoke to his manager, Lucas, is a damn good competitor and was supposed to have been in Rizin months ago after he got cut from the UFC.
Did he get cut? Did he leave?
He got cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he missed weight and then he lost one fight, which he lost the fight. He lost a fight that he missed weight for, and then he lost his next fight. I think that's how it went. And that's usually the death knell for your contract in UFC.
I'm looking it up right now. Okay, yeah, he's coming off of a split decision loss in the UFC for missed weight. So that's what it was. Yeah, it was a split loss. You missed weight. So
hopefully someone tells him that if he misses weight here, yeah, he loses like 50% of his purse, and his win will not count if he wins. So hopefully that happens. Jay,
he's 2-2 in the UFC.
He's 2.
So I mean, yeah.
He was 2-2, but the UFC didn't sign him back for another contract.
Yeah. So
okay,
Jay, sell this fight to me somehow.
Oh, it's a 2-2 UFC fighter coming over here. I think he had a top 10 ranking in the UFC at one time, or top 15, whatever. But he's coming over here to the superior rule set, getting unleashed on superior rule set against a pretty good fighter, and like I said, going back to, we were asking for international fighters to come back, and this is another good international fighter that they brought in for us. I think it feels like it's just for us, and it's. You
really think Rogerio Bontorin is for us?
Yeah, all the international fighters being brought in are for us. All the Johnny Case, I guess Benoa don't count. I mean, John
CJ's
Dodson.
Laughing. CJ's laughing. Is that you laughing, CJ?
Of course it is.
Okay.
He's going to write the lies on the paper again to hold up the thing. But look, Junior Taffa is another one. I mean, I guess Sewell Park doesn't count because she was in the Cataway Grand Prix.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. But I mean, like, what should I get excited about this fight? What is the purpose behind? Because Montoya, listen, I'll say this: the last fight he was in with Kuramoto was great, but every other fight before that was boring as fuck that he was in, and I think he got knocked out. He got knocked out by Kenta Takizawa, somewhere in between there. So yeah, how do you sell? Like, what should I be excited about this fight?
Two veteran fighters, UFC experience, and the UFC foreign fighter getting unleashed in the superior rule set for the first time against a great veteran Japanese fighter. I mean, it's going to be fun, you guys. I'm telling you. You watch. This is a sleeper banger of the night right here. CJ just going no. CJ's hating.
CJ, your thoughts? Your thoughts, CJ?
This is the fight where I'll be going to the concession stand to buy. Montoya can never undo the boring matches he's made me sit through.
I think you're also pissed off because he beat Kuramoto and he also beat Yamaniha, I think. And
he seems to beat people that are. He is capable of beating people that are exciting, and it's like the worst type of person. Montoya's been boring for years, and they just keep giving him rising shots. It drives me crazy.
Listen, he's a good hand. He's a good hand. That's the thing. He's a good hand. He probably says yes all the time. Probably doesn't argue about money. And yeah, I guess he is a name. He is former deep.
I'm sorry, I got up for a second. Did JayWolf honestly say that they brought Rogero in for us?
Yes.
No, the foreign.
Did you know that, CJ?
The foreign fighter. All the foreign fighters are being brought in for us.
Thank you, Takeda, for bringing in some guy I've never heard of and will never fight in Rising again.
Who, Bontorin? If he wins, he's going to fight again.
Not necessarily. Just because listen, Cindy Danzwall beat King Reina, should never brought her back.
Well, that was in the women's featherweight or lightweight division, wasn't it? So it's like that's why, because they don't do lightweights. But this is in a premier division for Epic Rizin. This is 135. That's one of their premier divisions. So I mean, and this is a 2-2 UFC vet coming off a close split loss. The only reason they let him go is because he missed weight. I mean, and he's getting unleashed on a superior rule set. And it's another foreign fighter on this card, like we asked for. I mean, come on, you guys. You guys have been way too critical of this. I think this is freaking awesome. This is one of the bouts I'm looking forward to.
My dislike runs so deep that even if Montoya gets a soccer kick knockout, I'll still dislike him.
You're going to boom in the stands, aren't you, CJ? You're going to get a soccer kick knockout. You're going to boom.
Jay Chris, your thoughts on this fight, if any?
Well, I mean, the manager of Laura Fontoura and Hart Spigas basically said that this was going to happen back in August or September when I interviewed Laura Fontoura prior to the Women's Super Atomweight Grand Prix. And to be honest, I mean, this fight can only go one of two ways. Either it's going to be really exciting, really fun, very epic in the case of JayWolf, as if we're going to get violence galore, or it can just be a 15-minute dragathon where we're just being bored by constant wrestle fucking and all of that shit.
I don't think you have to worry about that, Jay Krish. I really don't think.
Also, you have to play into factor that yes, Rogelio Bontorin did get cut from the UFC for missing weight. I mean, if the fight ends up being an epic slugfest, that is going to be, like I said, epic. But it all depends on if Bontorin makes weight. If he doesn't, and this fight ends up being a no contest because of it, I do think that it's going to be, we're going to feel like we're left without something. We're going to feel like we're missing something, so to speak. Like it would have been a good fight, but if only he would have made weight. I do think that this fight will be epic. It'll be exciting. It'll be fun. And yes, it'll see Rogelio Bontohim win via second or third round submission, but only if Bontohim makes weight. That's all I got.
Okay, so JayWolf, prediction?
Yes, I'm going to go with Bontohim as well. And, I'm really looking forward to his debut. It says here on Tapology, he's still the number 21 ranked flyweight worldwide. So, hey, that shows that he had a top 15 ranking in the UFC. So, I mean, a top 15 ranked UFC fighter coming over, getting unleashed on a superior rule set is pretty freaking exciting. I guess a durable fighter like Montoya. Come on, you guys. I just can't believe you guys. Look, even Jay Krish is yawning at this. What the heck?
Jay,
I'm yawning because I'm sleepy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to cut you off, Jay, because we're out of time. CJ, I know you'll be in the bathroom, but if you were in the bathroom, how do you think this fight? Who do you think will win this fight?
I mean, hopefully Montoya loses.
Okay, that's a fair answer. I'll take that as well. Yeah,
fight, Andrew. If I could have a replay of that yawn you did, that is how I feel.
Okay, Montoya, unanimous decision. It's gonna be a grind board fest. That's what it's gonna be. I think. I could be wrong. I'm very rarely wrong. But yeah, I just don't see, and here's the thing, Bontorin also is not the most exciting fighter as well. So you got two people who kind of are just not exciting fighting. Maybe cancel out each other. I don't think it will. Montoya fights safe now. It's boring. I'm tired talking about this fight. Let's move on to a better fight. Naoki Inoue, Kenta Takizawa. This should be a squash match, as we say in pro wrestling. CJ, do you think it'll go that way?
I mean, it's hard to say it's a squash match just because
I said it should be a squash match.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like Takizawa is one of those guys that kind of wins fights he's not supposed to win because he clearly has power.
He's got sneaky good striking. Remember that his striking is like sneakily very good and like very like underestimated.
Well, he clearly has power in his punches. Like he can knock you out with a punch.
Yeah.
And so there is that going. I think Naoki in the past has shown that he can kind of be dropped sometimes, especially in the Ishiwatari fight. I think Ishiwatari legitimately had him hurt before Naoki finished him. And so it should be a pretty fun, I think it'll be primarily a striking battle where I see Naoki being the more precise, technical, but I think Kenta has the power.
I hope, well, if for Naoki's sake, I know his striking is much better now. I would probably be the last plan. I would try to.
No, I mean, in the past, he should be a grappler, but didn't he have, I feel like he had back issues or something going into the tournament, and that's why he didn't grapple.
Also, he just came back. He's coming back from meniscus injury as well.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a really good grappler, but I just with all the injuries he's had, I see him maybe striking more. But I don't know.
JayWolf. No.
JayWolf's texting
JayWolf.
a sex line or something.
Hello?
Okay, whatever.
Maybe?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, JayWolf. Yeah. Thoughts on Inoue and Takizawa?
Another good bout between two veterans. I mean, it's gonna be good. I'm probably leaning towards Inoue, but I don't know. I mean, Takizawa's a good fighter too. It just, I don't know. It's hard to. I don't like picking. You know me. I don't like picking one or the other.
So listen, if this is the ultimate MMA show of the year, JayWolf, you have to pick. Sorry, that's the rules.
All right, I'm picking Inoue by submission, second round.
Okay. JayWolf. I'm sorry. Jay Chris. I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind. Jay Chris.
I got Inoue winning via third round submission. I think this fight's gonna drag on for a couple of rounds, and then when the going gets tough, you'll see Inoue get going.
You also have to remember. So I don't know if I know this fight feels like it happened like 10 years ago, but it was last year for New Year's Eve. Remember Takizawa and Asakura actually happened in the Grand Prix. And here's the thing, Takizawa is a tough guy to finish, no matter what you do. So I can't see Inoue winning the stand-up at all. If he chooses to stand up with him, I think that's a dumb decision. I hope he doesn't. But like, even if he gets it to the ground, I just don't like, it's going to be hard to just finish Takizawa, even though Inoue has finished like lesser grappler guys. But I think I'm going to say third round submission Inoue. I think he'll somehow be able to get that submission in, but I really don't think you should try to stand with Takizawa because that could end the fight pretty quickly. Because of
I agree with you. Just the story with Naoki is just always what Naoki we're going to get. Is he injured?
yeah.
Is he good?
Yeah.
Because those Inoues, they seem to always be injured.
Yeah. By the way, also recommend if you see the Riders Convention video, which I forgot which number it is, CJ, but
it was hilarious.
Mizuki basically being like his heel manager, mouthpiece for like in a way, like what was the whole backstory behind that? He in a way didn't want to like say anything or anything, so they just got Mizuki to talk for him.
That's what's kind of fun about the Rising stuff is because that Naoki doesn't like talking in the past. He had that notebook where he had the round girl read what he said, and they had the famous VTR where it was him versus Montoya, where the entire VTR was both of them don't like to talk.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean they're kind of leaning to that, and so they had Mizuki come and just kind of say what he's thinking because he doesn't really talk that much. So it was fun. I like the way they promote him. They
promote him perfectly. And here's the thing, if you were in UFC, he would be like dead in the water. They wouldn't know what to do. But Rizin, they lean into it. They lean into it so much. And I'll say that's one positive about Rizin, JayWolf. That's one is that they know how to take a fighter who's not exciting and promote him well. Still haven't done it with Montoya though. So
it's impossible.
Yeah, it's that's the true work. And before we get into the main event, we're gonna go on to the co-main event of Rise of 40. I think it's so far that's what they decided. Sudario versus Taffa. And
no man, that's gonna be a big kaiju battle right there.
Mm-hmm. And now we're talking. This is a big fight.
Yes, literally. Now, of course, I think we can all agree though, the winner of this should go on to face Bigfoot Silva.
At the next Rise show. Winner of this fight, let's just face it right away. Sudario has been training under Inawari for how long? Like a year or so, ever since he began his MMA career.
Yeah.
Which happened during the pandemic, mind you.
Yeah.
And it basically led to me interviewing Ensign and, led to him doing his podcast with Ozeki Jin. By the way, great listen. Y'all should check it out. It's on the Yamato Damashi YouTube channel.
I agree.
Highly recommend. Then you got Junior Taffa, and he's coming from a family who just loves to beat people senseless. I mean, I think his brother Justin's in the UFC right now.
Yeah. Is it Justin Taffa, right? I think it's his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Justin Taffa. And obviously, I don't know if he's fully related to Tyson Pedro or Tai Tuivasa, but the point of the matter is, if you know something about, the Australian and New Zealand fight community, is that they just love to scrap. They just love to beat people up. They just love to cause chaos with their fist or in a riot, but mostly with their fist.
Jay Chris, is he, so I know obviously he's Australian, but is he Samoan or is he
Samoan?
He's Samoan. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Actually, I think from the looks of his Instagram picture, he's Tongan.
Oh, okay. I was about to say it was either Samoan or Tongan. JayWolf, I'll put it to you because I definitely know you're probably frothing mouth of this fight. How do you think this fight will go?
Oh yes, I love my big boys fighting. I mean, and this one, look, Junior Taffa, kickboxing crossover. Everybody knows him from Glory. 3-0 in mixed martial arts so far. I'm really excited to see how he looks. He's going up against Sudario. I mean, that's one of their big prospects for Epic Rising, Sudario. So this is a really intriguing matchup for me. And beyond just the fact that it's two big heavyweights going at it, which everybody loves, there's so many cool little storylines going on here. I'm really excited. And, I'd hate to pick a winner of this bout. I know you're going to force me to. So
yes, I
guess I'll go with Junior Taffa making a successful debut in Epic Rising. He's going to win by an awesome soccer kick in the second round. He's going to rock him on the feet because he's a kickboxer, and he's going to finish him with a nice soccer kick, superior or grounded knee. He's going to do superior rule set. It's going to be awesome.
I'm so dumb. I looked up his brother. Because I'm looking at him like, wait, Junior was in UFC. J&J got me confused. Okay. What was I gonna say? CJ, your thoughts? And I know you had some when we talked on high kicks and arm bars. You think this is not a good fight for Sudario, right?
No, I mean, what makes this fight interesting to me is it's kind of like the second real MMA fighter that Sudario is fighting. after the last fight. So he's finally getting what he wants. He's fighting some actual MMA fighters. And Sudario is kind of a striker. That's basically his style, landing grappling skills. Junior clearly has striking skills, but he's also been knocked out. So he can be knocked out, but he also loves to knock people out. He's knocked out a ton of people. I think in kickboxing, he has 19 knockouts, and in MMA, he's knocked out everybody. So this fight just reeks of like first round knockout, whoever hits each other first. And I think they're actually the same. I think Sudario is probably bigger, but they're probably the same height. So
he's also
this is gonna be crazy.
If you watch his fights, Junior's fights, one of the things that stood out to me is like he looks small for a heavyweight, and he's only about 230 pounds. That's relatively small for the average heavyweight, especially
was Sudario like 260?
He's got to be maybe like I think 250 now. He's lost a lot of weight. He's actually he's in legitimate fighting shape. If you look from day one, when he started,
definitely. But he's still looks like he's way bigger size wise than Taffa.
Yeah.
The height wise, they're the same. They're both 6'3".
Yeah,
but still, I mean, Sudario looks pretty fast for a heavyweight as well. But this is the first legitimate striker he's going against, because I think the last guy was kind of like he won most of his fights by ground and pound.
Yeah,
this is a big test for him, and it'll be interesting to see what he does against a legitimate striker. But Sudario clearly has knockout power, so I mean, he can knock Taffa out, but Taffa can also knock him out, which is what makes this exciting to me.
So what you're saying is that we're gonna get a 3-round grappling.
We're gonna get what was that fight? Ben Rothwell versus Mark Hunt in Denver. What was that fight?
Or are you thinking of Nagano versus Derek Lewis, where they're just gonna stare at each other for 3 rounds?
That fight was just awful, but there's definitely a Ben Rothwell fight in Denver, which is the reason they've never had a heavyweight fight in Denver again.
That's not going to happen with Superior Rule Set. Don't even trip. It's going to be awesome.
Jay, Chris, your thoughts on this kaiju battle?
Yeah, it was Ben Rothwell, Mark Hunt back in 2011. That's how up to date my references are. But there's a connection because Taffa is coming to this event with Mark Hunt.
That's true. Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah. Jay, Chris?
Well, in a way, I know that y'all hate when I use analogies from other things, specifically other sports. I mean, it's like former basketball commentator for the LA Clippers, Ralph Lawler, used to say, the first to 100 wins. I think when it comes down to this fight, it's going to be the first to land a coherent series of punches will win, because it's going to be a big brawl. It's going to be a big kaiju battle, like I said. But I do think that this one most likely will not see the judges, and it probably won't see a second round or a third. I think this fight's going to be one and done, and I think that whoever wins this fight will, and I hate to say it this way because it eventually might happen, but whoever wins this fight will probably be going to the UFC. I mean, I just hate to admit it like that. I mean, even if it's soccer kicks, whoever wins this fight might be going to the octagon next. And I think that if Junior Taffa wins via knockout, he'll be well on his way to joining his brother in the UFC. If Sudario wins, I think this is going to probably lead to the start of him getting that push to fight more and more experienced opponents in order to get into, the octagon. So I'm going to go ahead and say that my pick for this fight is a draw. No, my pick for this fight is not a draw, but I am going to be neutral on this and say I'm just going to be here to watch two big meaty men throwing blows.
Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah.
I think you picked Junior, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
I can say it again. I mean, I want to pick. I think Junior Taffa's going to win. First round soccer kick or grounded knees. He's going to use some kind of superior rule set, and it's going to be freaking awesome. I cannot wait. And I hope you guys are wrong. He's not going to go to UFC. He's going to stay in Epic Rizin for a couple more fights at least.
Fight all those heavyweights.
Yes, have a Taffa versus Shrek. I would pay to see that. I would absolutely give Rizin all the money to see that.
Yeah.
CJ, your thoughts? Who will be the one that scores the knockout in this?
Gotta be
I know
Taffa.
it's tough. Sorry,
it's really close because either one can knock each other out, but I just got to give it to Taffa based off of past experience.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with everybody. I think it's gonna be Taffa. This is is this a case of where you've always picked against somebody? Like remember when you always would pick against Satoshi and then he finally wins and now you're not doubting him anymore? Is this will be the fight that will make you not doubt Sudario anymore?
I'm just curious. Like, what if Taffa goes out there and throws a high kick, like some strike that Sudario has just never seen before? Because I don't know. Remember when Sudario was training in the U.S. when he stood by actual heavyweights? He also looks like a smaller guy compared to some of the big guys over there at Extreme Couture where he was training. So they're both so similar. They're both really fast knockout artists, but I just think Taffa has more striking experience against legitimate competition.
And listen, he trains with Taffa gang, trains with his brother, he trains with Mark Hunt. Now I know Mark Hunt has special fuck you power, but listen, Mark Hunt still a great kickboxer. You know, so if he's
K1 champion.
Yeah, if he's learning from Mark Hunt, he's learning some great shit. You know, provided that Mark Hunt's actually teaching him and not playing Counter-Strike still. So
who was that other guy that Mark Hunt trained with? Palele?
Oh, Soa Palele. Yeah, Soa Palele.
That guy was terrifying.
Yeah. No, like Samoans.
Don't mess with any Samoan striker ever.
There's a reason why. I don't know if you know this, but just a random tangent. Samoans and Tongans practiced. I believe I'm correct. They practiced. What do you call it? When you like. What is it? What's the term? When you what do you call it when you kick out the people that are like the weakest?
Selective breeding.
They did select, and that's why have you ever met a small Samoan or a small Tongan? No, they're all big because all the ones that were small, they did like selective breeding. Like, and the ones that were small got kicked out. That's why if you go to Samoa, everybody there is fat and big, fat or big, I should say.
Well, whatever they didn't work because they created a bunch of monsters.
Exactly.
In boxing and MMA and kickboxing, they're all
pro wrestling,
NFL, rugby, all that stuff.
Yeah, pro wrestling as well. Unfortunately, the Rizin 40 main event for us overseas geeks will be the wettest of farts, I think. For a
come on, don't say it like that.
At least call it a queef.
Okay, I'll call it the wettest of queef.
Stop it, CJ. Stop it.
These are ladies, after all.
Good point.
But still, though, regardless of how you feel, this fight is going to be something enjoyable. Hopefully not like, a bowel movement. This fight is just going to be something, hopefully not being left as an afterthought, because if you think about it, this is going to probably change the future of women's MMA, at least in Japan. And it's a rematch too, so it's going to be epic as well. Seiki Izawa, the Starflower, the Rizin Super Animweight and Deep Jewel Strawweight champion, faces off against Siwoo Park, the Korean Queen Bee, for the Rizin Women's Super Animweight Grand Prix Championship.
Sorry, CJ, we do have a question from Falling Star that we'll get to, and then we'll get to this Izawa Park fight. So, since Falling Star wants to know, with the victory of Naoya Inoue, does the profile and stock of combat sports rise in the eyes of Japanese people?
Is his name the boxer? Naoya?
Yeah.
Okay. No, boxing's always been popular in Japan. I think boxing's always been thought of as a higher than MMA. Boxing's been popular in Japan for a very long time.
But I guess, does that help? Does that coincide? Could that raise up combat sports in general? Does that mean like,
no?
Okay.
I don't think boxing's not thought of as in the same vein as MMA. I mean, it's like the same all around the world. MMA is traditionally kind of been thought as like the trashy cousin of boxing.
Sure.
I don't think it has any direct impact because it's so separate than MMA, and the worlds are so different. MMA, if anything, is much closer to professional wrestling in Japan.
Oh, very true. Very true. And so let me ask you about this Park Izawa fight. You saw do you remember their first fight?
I was there.
Yep. And do you remember when Park accidentally kicked Izawa in the face with the soccer kick?
It'll be legal now.
Yes, it'll be illegal now. I rewatched that fight. Park got taken down quite a few times.
She got up every single time.
That's true. That's true. What can you sell this fight, CJ? This is your wheelhouse. Can you sell this fight, or is it not possible to sell this as the?
No, this is a great fight. I mean, the winner of this fight will legitimately be able to say that they'll have a claim to being the best atomweight in the world, because One Championship's atomweight division isn't real. It's not atomweight. So this will be a legitimate contest to see who's the best atomweight in the world. And I got to tell you, after watching their first fight, I think Siwoo Park has gotten better since that fight than Seika Izawa has gotten better. I think she's improved more.
Despite losing to Reina, by the way.
Losing
to Reina.
Yes, valid. But, and also, every fight that Park has is in some weird way besides the Reina fight, is against a grappler. And all Japanese fighters, they seem to come from this judo wrestling background. And the only person that's a striker that Seika Izawa has fought is Siwoo Park. And she struggled so much in that fight. She was able to get Park down, but Park was able to get up, and she was never really able to put her in any danger on the ground. And if you watch the Hamasaki fight, especially, Park has kind of come up with this game plan that she does now, where she sticks on the outside, she circles, and she kind of makes the fighters come to her. And she either sidesteps them or she counter strikes them and sidesteps them. She's gotten pretty good at I think she learned a lot from the second Saudi Oshima fight, where she's like, I'm not following them to the ground. I'm not clenching. I'm hitting them and getting out of the way. And as they get more desperate, I'll be able to hit them with bigger shots. And I think that might be what this fight happens, because tell me about this, what you think. So in the past, a lot of these Japanese fighters put so much pressure on themselves. Like Kai Asakura talked about it. Rena talked about it. All this pressure to put on a good performance. And I think Seika Izawa has that same kind of pressure. So I could see her being overly aggressive in this fight and going at Park. And Park doesn't really have knockout power, but she does have drop you power and TKO power. And she's not stupid enough now to, after she drops you, to follow you to the ground. And I could see Park just sitting on the outside and one-shotting, landing pot shots as Izawa just chases her around the ring.
It's about Park. She also has that power. Okay, you described it perfectly, but I'll also say this. So the type of power that she has is kind of I guess, seeing stars, but you're still standing. Remember the Kana Asakura fight?
Where I describe it as TKO power.
Yeah. And this, what she did with Hamazaki as well. That's the other thing, is that I think you could have stopped. I think the way that Hamazaki was being beat up, the referee could have stopped the fight maybe by that third round, just because of how badly she was getting beaten up. Doesn't help that her arm broke as well. So, but
yeah,
her arm doesn't break. I still think it goes the same way.
Plus, Siwoo Park is training at Team Mad again.
Yeah,
which is such a good gym. I mean, Team Mad just creates every Korean fighter that's in the UFC, besides the Korean Zombie, essentially has come from Team Mad. And she's training with Han Sohee again. Seika Izawa is not physically gifted. I mean, she has those videos. She can jump 2 inches. Siwoo Park is shredded. So I'm saying this, there is a way that Siwoo Park wins this fight, and that's if she sticks to her game plan. She sticks to the outside in circles. Now, if Seika's able to get her to the ground in the middle of the ring, she has a chance to submit her like she does anybody. But Park has proven harder and harder to take down, and she's gotten better at getting up. So I think it could be, in the first fight, if you take away the point deduction, was a split decision. And Park fucked Izawa up. And at the time, I thought it was from the kick. No, her eye was swelling shut before the kick. And so, I mean, her eye almost completely swelled shut in that fight from punches. So I think Park might be able to win this one.
Do you think that I'm going to also ask prediction. Do you think that she will win? Do you think that Izawa is going to still win and still be the best atom weight in the world?
I say all that to say that Park can win. I still think Izawa will win. I think Izawa has shown that she's willing to like pull guard. She's willing to do whatever it takes to get to the ground. But this is like the first fight was. This is an incredibly close fight because it's like they're opposites of each other, like perfect foils. Seiki Izawa is like the classic grappler, whereas Siwoo Park is the classic like sprawl and brawler.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both kind of at their peaks. I mean, Seiki Izawa is still getting better. Siwoo Park really reached her peak and has really like improved recently. Just they're so different. Like if Izawa gets her down, she can submit her, but she wasn't able to do it the first time. So
I just want to also just clarify the comments about like, this going over like a queef, I'll say. And CJ, we talked about this on high kicks and arm bars. It doesn't feel compared to the other Grand Prix that happened. It just feel I didn't even know it was happening.
This fight. I understand. I agree with you 100%. Like I did on the podcast, we did the high kicks and arm bars. The problem with this fight is they aren't treating it special. This fight should be getting the hell promoted out of it. And I think as I said in another podcast, I think JayWolf's kind of right. If they would have had the semis and the finals, maybe there'd be more drama to it if it was on the same night.
Sure. Absolutely.
But and with all of the attention being put on Bellator, it kind of feels like this is getting the shaft where it shouldn't be. This should be getting more attention.
I mean, this is technically our main events, us in the United States. So,
I mean, hey, Siwoo Park might be the best fighter Crazy B's ever produced in the past 5 years. So
that's true. JayWolf, your thoughts on this fight?
Well, I love this fight. Can't wait to watch it. CJ, I'm so glad you said that, CJ, that it'd be getting more recognition if it was a one-night Grand Prix final Pride style like it should have been. You're absolutely correct. That's exactly what would have happened. But that's okay. They'll go back to that format next year. But this bout right here, Starflower Takizawa is a superstar in the making. And Siwoo Park, like you guys were saying, looked fantastic in their bout, the first bout, arguably almost beat her, except for the point deduction. Well, now soccer kicks are legal. I mean, this is really exciting. I mean, CJ is absolutely right. Park could win this and score a huge upset. But at the same time, Izawa she's a budding superstar. I mean, and this is her chance to sit there and prove it against a fighter that, almost beat her last time in the first bout. So it's like, I mean, I'm sure they'll use that in the VTR saying, hey, the only Park will say the only reason they lost is because of his point deduction, and now sock kicks are legal. So now Izawa, she's in her sights now for this bout. And it's just, I mean, it'd be pretty cool if Park scores the upset, but at the same time, I would hate to see Seiki Izawa lose. I mean, so I'm going to pick Seiki Izawa by decision. We'll go by decision this time. And because, Park, like you guys were saying, shows excellent wrestling ability to get back to her feet. So, I mean, it'd be really impressive if Izawa submitted her. And, at the same time, Izawa's super tough. So I don't think Park's going to be able to put her away. But you never know. She lands a soccer kick in. Now it's legal. Followed up with a stomp or some grounded knees. Izawa will be out of there and Park be new champion. It's just, I mean, there's a lot. And also make sure, like we were talking about at the very start of the show, go to CJ's website and read his article about Siwoo Park. Excellent article. And that, better than anything that stupid lamestream UFC media puts out. They're not even writing about this show. They're not even talking about it. So go to CJ's site and check out his content about it. It's awesome. And, also, your guys' fantastic podcast here that we're doing. And, not since after this bout, we're going to get I can't wait to rip on the UFC media even more for not covering this. But
okay, sorry, Jay, you got to wrap it up.
It's a great main event for the Rizin 40 portion. And it's going to be the best atom weight in the world is going to be from this bout. And so I'm picking Izawa decision.
Mr. J. Krish.
Well, you're kind of forcing me in a spot because we're running a little low on time and you expect me to give my thoughts about this fight, so I'm going to make them brief. We're not used to seeing Izawa lose a round. We're not used to seeing Izawa lose a fight. She's undefeated for a reason. But then again, Crazy B's hopes ride on Siwoo Park winning this fight. And of course, you have to have a winner, otherwise you won't have a decent atomweight division to welcome foreigners into. So I do think that you're going to see this fight be 3 rounds of hell. I mean, you're going to have this fight be as exciting as their first fight would have been. But I do think that, at least for the sake of Japanese women's MMA, I'm sorry to the Korean Queen Bee. I'm sorry to Miyu Yamamoto, who trained her. But then again, she can't finish anybody, not even a wet paper bag. But still, though, I do think that Seika Izawa is going to win this fight. You know, keep her undefeated streak. Maybe even pick out a challenger to face off against the next time she defends that belt. But then again, if she wins this fight, it'll probably be a win for JMMA on the women's side as a whole. That's all I got to say. And I think that fight's going to probably end via decision.
Yeah, I agree. I think Izawa, listen, it won't be as easy. No, the first fight wasn't easy. Excuse me. But I don't think this is going to be, it's not going to be a walk in the park. This won't be a walk in the park for Izawa. It won't be a walk in the park for Park either. So it won't be a walk.
Pun intended, of course.
So, no, because, you know, Izawa, if she's smart, she'll remember in that first fight, oh yeah, I don't want to strike with Park, don't want to do it again. I'm sorry, Park. Izawa doesn't want to strike with Park. Park remembers, listen, she could take me down. I don't have the benefit of the cage being there to kind of help me up easier. Unless I'm at the turnbuckle, which will help. So there's that as well. I do have to say, I think Izawa's, you know, every time I doubted Izawa, she's always won. She's my Satoshi, CJ. I'm gonna have to pick Izawa by decision, maybe split decision. That's how close it'll be. And yeah, you know, she will be the best atomweight after this fight. But sorry, was somebody about to say something? Or is it somebody?
It's kind of funny that Park only has 1 KO victory because I feel like she's rocked so many of her opponents in the past. But
yeah, she's a point fighter. That's how she wins. Yeah. She's a point fighter, and
she comes from a point fighting background. So it makes
exactly
sense.
Crazy Bee, the king of point fighters. I guess the queen now, since it is run by Miyu. Before we get into the actual real good shit of this show, there is a question from Falling Star, and they want to know, do you feel this has the potential in terms of production value to be as great as the match? That was spectacular spectacle of presentation and production. Jay, do you think this will have a great production, the show?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. It's going to rival the match and everything. Hopefully in pay-per-view numbers, everything. It's going to be a spectacular show. It's going to show you exactly why I've been calling it Epic Rizin. I mean, it's going to be really fun. And you're definitely going to see some great production in this. They're going to go all out. I just can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
CJ, you think we'll get, well, obviously we'll get the Yushi entrance. That'll be big, but do you think the rest of the production will be kind of JMMA New Year's Eve spectacular?
I hope so. I mean, I feel like they never recaptured the production value of their first events where they had those cool tubes they come out of.
Yes.
So I hope they go back to those. I hope it's awesome. Well, but recently they have seemed to be kind of, probably for budgetary reasons, cutting back on the promotional stuff.
I'm hoping also that they don't, because this is also, I think they're going to do a Noki tribute as well. If they want to keep the
No, I don't want it.
Oh, okay.
Leave that to the moat fighting.
Okay. Jay Krish, do you think we'll get some big spectacular productions from this show?
I mean, it's Rizin and it's New Year's Eve. They're not going to half-ass anything. The only thing they half-ass on is, well, when it comes to certain fighters, and I know you hate fighters from Mongolia fighting in Rizin, that's the only screw-up they're known for, other than the fact that they've had that fight with Hiroya versus Shivatar, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. The point of the matter is, you're going to see some epic production because it's Epic Rizin, and that's what we should all look forward to, especially on New Year's Eve.
I'll say this as well. Even a lack of production for a Rizin show is still better production than probably 95% of UFC shows, 100% better than Bellator shows. Even them doing a show, what's the CJ, what's the Osaka arena that they did the most recent Osaka show at? What's the name of that arena? I forgot. Is that
pay attention to the Osaka garbage that Rizin pulls
if
out?
Babalu is here, Babalu could tell us.
Isn't it Edion Arena Osaka?
No, I don't. They didn't do it. No, because Edion's a great arena. I don't think they did the landfill. What was the last?
I'm so happy you called it landfill.
Oh wait, actually,
don't you dare do that
Osaka
again.
Osaka Joe Hall.
They didn't do
No, it was the Maruzen
no.
Intech Arena.
That's it. Maruzen Intech Arena. That's it. Yes. The Maruzen Intech Arena, which is basically your generic basketball arena kind of type thing that holds like 5,000 people. They can even make that look good on camera without fireworks or whatever. So even if it's slimmed down, I would not want it slimmed down. It still will look good. It'll still look better than 95% of UFC shows and 100% of Bellator shows because Bellator shows all look the same and they're all shit, like production wise. And I will not hear
they're better than the freaking UFC. Come on, they got a better entrance than the UFC. Everything.
No,
yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No.
They have the stage entrance. The freaking UFC just has them walk out from the thing. I mean, it's just
from the back.
I see people's hats get stolen in UFC walkouts. That's the highlight of the walkouts when somebody's hat gets stolen. Anyway,
wait,
Jay,
I got a question for you, Drew.
Yes,
Drew,
yes.
how about this? Do you think they're going to bring out Takeda and the drum again?
I hope they do. Listen, they should. They absolutely should. I think we can all agree that Takeda in a diaper or whatever the thing and do
Makawashi.
Yes, and do that. Jay, I know you said you want to do a quick rant. Do it quickly because we got good shit to talk about.
Oh yes, I'm just so upset at the mainstream. Yeah, and they're not. I'm not even going to dignify them by calling them MMA media. They're the UFC media. They are shills. They are terrible, and they're not covering this event. And I believe it's on purpose. They're trying to sabotage it, trying to prevent new fans from seeing this epic Rizin Superior Rule Set New Year's Eve collaboration mega event. And it's going to be so much freaking fun. And I'm so mad at them for not even the freaking people on the Showtime payroll, the Morning Combat guys. I'm not even dignify him by calling him. You don't get to have the name Luke anymore. Luke is a biblical name. He's going to have the name Loser Thomas, and his little butt buddy Brian. You don't even get to have the last name Campbell. Okay, that's reserved for Campbell McLaren, one of the original co-creators of UFC. His name is Butt Buddy Brian. So it's Loser Thomas and Butt Buddy Brian Campbell on the Morning Combat. They didn't even. All they did was have one tweet a week ago. Give me a freaking. What is Showtime paying them for? Give me a freaking break. I mean, they need to do. They should have had They should have started off today's show with the Epic Rizin New Year's Eve collaboration mega event. This is a freaking huge event. Okay, this is the biggest event since Almighty Pride FC. This is the biggest crossover event. This is actually the biggest crossover event in history. And I think this is even bigger than Almighty Pride FC. And this is a legit Pride Bushido level event. Bushido was a showcase of lighter weight classes in Pride. This is going to be a showcase of lighter weight classes. I mean, some of the best superstars of Bellator. I know you don't like that word, Drew, but I mean, Patricio Pitbull, pound for pound, one of the greatest fighters, pound for pound today. I mean, he's going to be releasing a superior rule set. AJ McKee, another superstar in the making, going to be releasing a superior rule set. Did you see his interview where he said he's looking forward to soccer kicking people? I mean, these guys, they're coming there to kill, and they're the superior rule set. It's going to be freaking awesome. This is going to be. I cannot wait. And I can't. And Drew, you're freaking Reddit people. I want you to just tear into their asses. If they do not freaking allow a live thread for this, how dare they? This is. I cannot stand the UFC media. You know what?
Fairness, how can they can't have a live thread for a show that's on tape delay? And fairness.
Oh, don't let them use that excuse. If you notice, that is the only little bit of hateration that they're able to do for this event. They can't even hate on any of the fighters, any of the matchups, nothing. They can't hate on anything because this event is so badass. All they can hit on is the paperweight.
I'm gonna cut you off, Jay, because
okay, go ahead.
CJ's back. I was gonna be like, okay, when CJ comes back, then that's when then that's when it's over. Okay. You want to say anything? Any last thing you want? You want to say something about Josh Thompson, right?
Yes, Josh Thompson was 100% correct, and it was vindicated 100%. He just used the wrong word instead of saying promote. He should have just said the word coverage, and he was 100% right on. And I love the fact that he made the UFC media butthurt because he called them out, and he was 100% right on. And it just they better get their asses in the gear. And I want some freaking articles. I want some coverage of this event. Okay,
well,
this event is freaking huge.
Actually, Jay, on the contrary, you bash the mainstream media for the mainstream fight media, and I can totally understand that. But one of our friends, Drake Riggs, just so happens to be a part of that mainstream fight media. Yeah. And he does.
Okay.
I don't think JayWolf's talking about everybody. JayWolf's not talking. He's talking about, I guess, the usual suspects, as they say.
Yes.
Right. Of course. The usual mainstream media suspects that wouldn't give the Rizin Fighting Federation a time of day.
Yes. How dare they for an event this big? This is freaking huge. This for the mixed martial arts community. This is like the match. Remember, they didn't even give the match any. They didn't even give a freaking results for the match. It was ridiculous, and that's the biggest event of the year so far.
And that basically meant the entire card was getting put on the shelf.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, you guys. I really feel like it's a conspiracy almost. It's a conspiracy to keep the masses from seeing it. It's
sorry, Jay. CJ's
CJ back. Okay,
he's figuring out his. I think he's figuring out his audio or his video on his side because.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting me rant.
No, I got my audio on.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So let's get into the geo-blocked portion of the United States. If you're in Japan, we're going on a walk with CJ, apparently. Sorry. By the way, I have a question, CJ. Is this freezing in Japan right now? I feel like it's freezing.
Yeah, but it's nothing as cold as like it is in the US. I think they said back home in Indiana, it's like negative 22 degrees.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So yes, it looks cold. I'm looking at you. It feels very cold. But let's get into the first fight of Bellator versus Rizin. Representing Rizin, we got Rizin and Koji Takeda. Representing Bellator, I want to say Ramadanov, but obviously that's not his name.
Gotzi Ramadanov.
Yes, and also this will be the first time Khabib is in Rizin because he'll be in his corner from Team AKA. I'm sorry, ATT. Sorry, excuse me.
Nah, they represent the American Kickboxing Academy.
I thought it was ATT. The American top team. I thought Kyoji was at AKA with Mike Brown.
Kyoji Horiguchi is at American.
You have it backwards. American top team is where Kyoji is. American Kickboxing Association is where Khabib is.
Okay, gotcha.
Actually, it's American Kickboxing Academy, but to each its own. Still, though.
Yeah.
You are right about that. The only reason why this fight is even interesting is because Khabib will be in Gotzi Ramadanov's corner. Other than that, who cares? This fight is just going to be... I could just hope that... even though we know Koji's probably going to have a suplex battle with Gotzi, this fight better be interesting because I'm not wasting my time watching this fight if it's not.
CJ, your thoughts on this fight? Do you think this fight can potentially be exciting with these two different wrestlers? One Greco-Roman, and the other one Dagestani type guy.
To what JayWolf's point, wasn't this fight kind of announced as like, oh, Khabib's coming to Japan?
Yeah, I feel like I've heard more about Khabib. This is more, it's more about Khabib being here than
this fight was thrown together at the near last minute, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Takeda is usually pretty entertaining if he's winning. If he can throw some suplexes, I think it should be a fun fight.
JayWolf, your thoughts on this fight? Excuse me, sorry.
Yes. Oh, I'm absolutely looking forward to this. Ramadanov is he's top 10 ranked in Bellator right now, and in one of their most stacked divisions. And
being ranked in Bellator is like being the best ice skater in Jamaica.
No, that's not true. Look, just look at their light heavyweight division. Vadim Nemkov, better. There's argument, especially now that Jiri is hurt. Bantam Nemkov is the best light heavyweight in the world right now. And MMA Mania did some tweets where they did the rosters side by side and they matched them up. And there was two of them, the middleweight and light heavyweight. They actually had some very competitive matchups where, it's I'm telling you, the top 10 rankings in Bellator, they're good. No, you guys, I'm telling you, it's this is one of their best divisions, and Ramadanov is ranked. And Takeda,
how much does Bellator pay you to talk like this? Like $10?
Nothing. I don't get paid. I do this for the love of it. I'm telling you, it's going to be a great fight, you guys. You'll and just because it's two grapplers, don't let that fool you. This is two grapplers on the superior rule set. Remember, so there's going to be stuff like I'm hoping to see a Takeda up kick KO, reminiscent of Anderson Silva and Yushin Okami. And I want Takeda to score the victory like that, or something awesome with a superior rule set. I mean, I'm sure we'll see a grappling battle because they're both grapplers, so we'll see some grapplers delight. But it's going to be a special one because there's going to be superior rule set action in it. I mean, talking grounded knees, up kicks, 12-6 elbows. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you guys can scoff all you want at the Bellator top 10, but their top 10s are good. And they're comparable to UFC in several divisions. And this is one of their best divisions right here, too.
I am curious to see how this fight wrestling-wise will go because they're both great wrestlers. And I'm curious to know if they will even wrestle. That I'm at least kind of curious to see. Maybe because they won't and they'll just strike or something, just cancel each other out. Jay Krish. You kind of give your thoughts. You kind of don't give a fuck. Do you have a winner? Do you have a winner to pick in this fight?
I mean, despite the fact that Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to be in Gadzhi Rabadanov's corner, I'm still picking the man from the tandem beds, Mr. Koji Takeda.
CJ, who do you think? How about you? I know. And also, how badly do you think Takizawa will beg Khabib to fight in Rizin?
I mean, would he even try?
Yes,
I think he's happy to just have him show up. But it really just comes down to, with Takeda, the case fight kind of threw me off because I wasn't expecting him to win that one.
Oh, same here.
With his win, he kind of upped his stock a lot, but I got to feel like Gadzhi's got to be a better wrestler than him. And that kind of takes away his strong suit. So, kind of tough one to call, but I'll go with Takeda just based off the case performance.
Yeah, listen, I gotta say, I don't think either of these guys are gonna finish each other. I don't think at least Takeda could finish Gadzhi, but the question is, can Gadzhi hold down Takeda? I don't think he can. I don't think he will be able to. I don't think he's gonna be able to do that. And especially, like you did say, this soccer kicks will be allowed. So if you go for a takedown and you miss it, listen.
Yes.
That is
grounded knees.
Exactly. Oops. Sorry. So you're potentially going to eat grounded knees. So that's the other thing. I want to really see. This is the other thing that I'm really curious about. So because UFC is a very wrestler friendly promotion. I'm curious to see though how the Dagestani wrestler style, how that will be. If it's Rizin rules friendly, because it certainly is unified rules friendly. If you just lay there on your opponent, the referee will stand you up. Or if you're just in a position where you're both not doing anything, you will be separated. So the
number one scoring criteria is whoever's closest to finishing the fight, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you got to, if you take someone down, you have to do something, because if they rock you on the feet or if they do anything damaging, those takedowns don't mean anything.
No, exactly. Yes. So because that's the thing is that that's not, it's the opposite of the unified rules, how they judge fights. It's really, it's the full opposite. And I really want to see how this whole Dagestani style that everybody's in love with, how it transitions into. That's the thing I want to see most in this fight. And I'll be honest, I don't know. That's why I think Takeda is going to win this, because I think he's, I think for this rule set, for the ring, I don't think it favors the Dagestani style. That's my belief. But I'll say this, out of all the 5 fights that are Bellator x Rizin, this is definitely the one I'm looking forward to the least. But this one should be absolutely awesome, I think. Sol-Chu Kim from Korea taking on Juan, the Spaniard, Conquistador Archuleta. JayWolf, I know you are a fan, a big Sol-Chu Kim fan and a fan of his receding hairline.
Yeah.
Receding hairline.
toughest office worker looking guy in the game right now. I mean, I want him to come out with the gimmick of, you remember that movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas?
Yes.
Come out with a briefcase and a freaking Uzi. I think that'd be perfect for his look. But anyways, I think I'm really looking forward to this fight. You know, I love Sol-Chu Kim. I mean, former one championship champ, former Road FC champion, and you know, Juan Archuleta, former Bellator champion. I mean, these guys are both action fighters. Sol-Chu Kim, his last performance in Epic Rizin was so impressive. You remember, I was right here on your show, Drew.
Yeah.
What did you say? What did you say?
Oh, no, I coughed. I apologize. I coughed. Sorry. No, I wasn't being a dick. I accidentally forgot the
bullshit. You know, okay, good. Okay, look. I was right here on your show. Remember, after Sol-Chu Kim's last performance, where I was so impressed. I was calling for him to get a title shot. Remember, I was thinking, hey, this guy should. This was really impressive. And you know, Juan Archuleta, he's a great action fighter as well in Bellator. Former champion and just top 10 ranked as well. This is really a great fight. I can't. You know, I know you guys didn't like the first one with Ramadanov but this one. You can't deny this one's going to be great. Okay. And Sol-Chu Kim's already shown he has the fight IQ and he knows how to use a superior rule set. I mean, we saw that in the highlights of his last fight. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do here against a proven Bellator fighter.
Also, his wife promised him a Nintendo Switch if he won. So keep that in mind.
Oh man, listen to that motivation. He's going to be playing Super Mario Brothers after this bout, hopefully.
CJ, your thoughts on this fight? If CJ is here.
He's there. He's pointing at something.
Oh, what are you pointing at, CJ? Oh, sorry. Okay. In the meantime, you figure that, yeah.
Do you want me to rant some more?
Yeah. No. I'll post it to you, J. Chris. J. Chris, your thoughts?
I think this fight is going to be very special for Archuleta, considering the fact that it took him a long time to get into fighting under this format. I mean, I thought that he was going to do it in King of the Cage, but then again, fighting on Indian reservations don't really count. Still, though, I think this fight's going to be a fun little outing for Archuleta. And I think Sol-Chu Kim, while he has the experience of fighting in Road FC and ONE FC, you know, he's going to be in for a violent awakening from the Spaniard. So I think the Spaniard's going to probably win this fight via first or second round knockout.
I'll say this about Archuleta. Like, I've always underrated him. I didn't think he was going to be Patchy Mix when they fought, and then that's how he won the bantamweight title, I believe it was. Or
yes, it was.
Retained the bantamweight title. I thought Patchy Mix was going to walk right through him. No, Archuleta walked right. It was the complete opposite. But this fight also will tell us like how good Sol-Chu Kim is. Listen, Ogikubo's a good fighter, but you know, not at his peak. Archuleta is at his peak, even with the loss to Sots. If Kim beats Archuleta handily, then we know that Kim is definitely that wasn't just a flash in the pan. That wasn't like a lucky win that he got. But man, though, every time I've doubted Archuleta, he always somehow wins. I gotta go with Archuleta in this, man, and I think it's gonna be a tough. I don't think he can finish Kim. Kim is a hard guy to finish. If you look at his record, he's a very hard guy to finish. I'm going to say that Archuleta drags Kim to a very tough decision win. I think that both fighters honestly are going to look fucking great in it. I don't think there'll be a loser on paper, obviously, but I think I definitely think that both will look good, and I agree with Rizin will die. If this is not a fight of the year contender, then it's over for Rizin. I do agree Rizin will die.
No way. Rizin will live forever. Freaking, this is just a start of the new golden era, buddy.
CJ, I don't know if you can hear us, but whenever we're ready, we'll go back to you. If you have when everything's settled on your end. So just let us know when you're good. Unless things are good now, or things good now, or just wait. Maybe okay, whatever. Well, we'll come back to you. I promise we'll come back to you.
He says he'll message us when we're good. And
okay, gotcha.
Speaking of which, is it okay if I bow out early because I feel a little sleepy on my end?
You want to give your thoughts on the rest of the fights, Chris, before you go?
Oh yeah, let me go ahead and do that real quick before I end up falling asleep right where we're doing this. I think that Kyoji Horiguchi is going to dominate Hiromato Ogikubo in this trilogy fight. I'm sorry, but it has to be that way because this fight, even though, of course, it's a trilogy, it dates back to their days in Shudo. I just think that Kyoji is going to have way too much of an upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the two other bouts are concerned, which are going to be the co-main event and main event, I think that in the battle of the featherweight champions, you're going to be seeing a hard-hitting battle between Patricio Pitbull Fiore and Kleber Koike Ernst. I do think that these two men are the rightful fighters to represent their promotions as champions. And I do think that when it comes down to this particular fight, you're going to see two champions just give it their all for 3 consecutive rounds. I know there's not going to be a draw. There can't be a draw in a fight like this. So I think that, in a way, we're going to probably see Kleber Koike suffer his first loss in the Rizin ring to his fellow countryman, Patricio Pitbull Fiore. And I think that fight's going to end via, if not third round finish, via decision, split decision. And in the main event, Roberto Satoshi de Souza versus AJ McKee. This is AJ's first fight in a ring. This is AJ's first fight in Asia, first fight in Japan, fighting on the same stage that his daddy Antonio McKee fought on over a decade ago. But Roberto Satoshi de Souza will be ready. He'll be game in this fight. And I'm sorry to all the American fans who are probably going to be saying that AJ McKee is the overall favorite. Y'all don't know a damn thing about fighting, especially about the Rizin Fighting Federation, considering the dominant run that Roberto Satoshi de Souza has been on. So I'm going to go ahead and say straight up, if AJ McKee is not ready for Roberto Satoshi de Souza's moveset and attacks, he better get ready now he should have gotten ready weeks ago because it's already too late. And I think Roberto Satoshi de Souza is going to be ending this fight with a second round guillotine choke or rear naked choke.
Okay.
Well, in addition to the arm bars that he already has.
It sucks you gotta leave, Chris, but if you're tired, listen, drink some tea or have some milk or head out to bed.
Yeah, they plug focus fights too.
Oh yeah, that too. Go ahead, plug your stuff. Plug your stuff as well.
Oh yeah, let me go ahead and do that before I end up, falling asleep on y'all. The next Focus Fights audio interview, I can't stress this enough. It'll be tomorrow night and around this particular time, a little bit past midnight Eastern, 11 p.m. Central. And I will be talking with Johnny Hollywood, Johnny Case. Andrew, you probably know the Twitter handle @Focus_Fights. You can go ahead and retweet that post about that. And JayWolf, you can do that as well.
Oh,
Get people to know that, questions are still open. The Q&A is still open. If you want to ask questions for Johnny Case, I hope to be answering all your questions or asking all your questions to Johnny tomorrow night. That's in less than 24 hours from right now. But other than that, if you want to follow us on Focus Fights, you can do that on Twitter I think both of our Twitter handles are now out, at Focus Fights and at Focus_Fights. And, if you want to check out more of us, I think I stressed this out yesterday, getting a little bit upset over Twitter's new rules where you can't post any third-party links. So I'm going to just go ahead and spell it out now. The Linktree address is linktr.ee/Focus Fights. Type that into your URL and you'll see all our links there. But other than that, that's it from me for now. I'm going to let y'all enjoy the rest of the show. And, Lenny Hart basically ain't here. Her voice is getting worked on. She's gone through surgery. Hopefully she'll be back in March, if not in June. But I can say, I can't stress this out. And I don't want to try and, mess up my own voice by saying this. But I'm going to just go ahead and try and say it anyway. But I hope y'all had a Merry Christmas. I hope y'all have a Happy New Year to you and yours.
Nice. Great impression. That was perfect.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, Chris. See you on the net.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking soon. Sorry. We'll be talking soon.
Hey, no problem. I'll see y'all in January. I hope to see y'all when it comes to what am I trying to say? I'll see y'all when we do the Rizin 40 review. Hopefully that'll be in the hopefully that'll be in the second or third week of January.
And you'll be in the Twitter Discord. The Epic Rizin Discord, watching the fights with us on New Year's Eve.
Oh yeah. If y'all haven't checked out the Rizin Discord, go ahead and check that out as well. I'm pretty sure Andrew will provide the link for that when fight night happens.
Oh yes, and I'll give it at the end of the thing. But yeah, Chris,
but other than that, Andrew, Jay, thank y'all for the hospitality. I hope to see y'all soon. CJ can't hear me, but I'm pretty sure the feeling's mutual. See y'all later.
Take care, Chris.
Later,
brother. So
Later.
Jay, we'll talk about we'll go back to talking about the rest of the Bellator.
Oh, sure. I would be glad to.
We got Ogikubo, Kyoji Horiguchi. Third time's a charm, maybe for Ogikubo or not. What do you think?
No, I think it's going to be Kyoji Horiguchi. He's just going to, go there and say, hey, I got this guy's number and beat him for a third time. I don't know if he'll finish him. Maybe it'll probably be close than the other ones because Ogikubo has had, 2 fights now to get to know Horiguchi. But Horiguchi, I like the things he was saying pre-fight, saying, he takes it very serious. Just because he's beat him twice before, he can't underestimate him. All kinds of good stuff. And his coach, Mike Brown, one of the best in the business. So I'm really looking forward to Kyoji going out there and, doing his thing. It's going to be a really exciting bout. And I think Kyoji's going to beat him on this one. And I was actually really looking.
You think Kyoji will beat him again?
Yes, I believe Kyoji's going to go 3-0 against Ogikubo. And I think it's gonna be one of the only Bellator wins of the night. I wanted to say that I'm really glad that Scotty Cokes and the Bellator people I put all the pressure on the Bellator fighters to go 5-0. I think that relieves some of the pressure off the Epic Rizin fighters. And really all they got to really do is put on good performances and show that they can hang with these Bellator fighters. And I believe they're going to do that. And, and all the Epic Rizin's got to do is just win one of these 5 bouts. And it'll show that, hey, they didn't run the table. We got some great fighters here too. And it's going to be so much fun. And, and like you were saying earlier, Drew, the back and forth banter between the Twitter accounts of Epic Rizin and the Mighty Bellator have been a lot of fun. And especially for this is one of those bouts where they've been doing that, and it's been really good. And I'm sure we'll get into that more for the top 2 bouts, but they were doing pretty good for this one as well. I mean, even for the first one with Ramadanov and Takeda, they had some great banter. Even Josh Thompson got in on it. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I'm telling you, man, this is going to be so much fun. I just can't wait. But yeah, I'm picking for this bout. I'm picking Horiguchi. So that's my pick. And I hope it's awesome.
What do you think Ogikubo can do though to win this fight?
Oh, just be better than he was. Learn from, make the adjustments from the previous 2 bouts, and try to score like some superior rule set, soccer kicks or something. That could be a game changer. Or if Koji takes him down, maybe you do an up kick or just some of these rules that they're not used to. And I know Kyoji he's an Epic Rising fighter, before he went over to Bellator, but he's been fighting in Bellator for his past couple bouts. Maybe he's forgotten, not used to the superior rule set anymore. So maybe that could give Hero the edge. I don't know. It's going to be a really interesting bout. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping Gucci 2 belts comes back and Kyoji gets the W. But I wouldn't be mad if Hero gets the W. I mean, it's as long as it's a good bout and it shows the quality of both guys. I think it'll be, no matter what happens, it's going to be fun. So,
do you think that Horiguchi's kind of chinny recently, though?
I don't know. That's a good question, CJ. Could he have lost his chin from the Sergio Pettis brutal spinning back fist KO? So, I mean, certainly could have taken some of the granite off it. Maybe it knocked some granite off his chin. Who knows? I mean, that's what this fight's going to tell us. So maybe, CJ, maybe you're right. Maybe he does have a lesser of a chin in this one, and maybe Hero can exploit that. Maybe if he gets him down, maybe he throws a grounded knee or something, or if he can score a soccer kick or an up kick or something, that could be totally game changing. Just like Siki Izawa did on Hamasaki when she won the title. That was he rocked her with those up kicks and then came in back and finished it. So I mean, it just the superior rule set is just a game changer. So if CJ's right,
I want to ask. I gotta ask CJ if you can hear me. CJ, do you have any thoughts on Kim Archuleta since we didn't have you on for that? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, Kim's kind of interesting because he's just been so inactive recently. I mean, I don't think he fought in all of 2018 or 20. But I mean, his last fight, he's such a warrior. It's going to be there's a reason Rising picked him to represent them, and it's because they want to win some of these fights. And so I think he has a good chance.
Hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy's fought for Rising twice. He's not really a Rising fighter.
It's funny that all the Rising fighters, except for one, are foreigners. You have 2 Brazilians. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, no. I'm sorry. Takeda. I forgot about Takeda.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
So 2 are Japanese. 2 are Japanese, and
yes.
the rest, and the other 3 are foreigners.
Well, I mean, the Satoshi counts, doesn't he? Since he's I know he's Brazilian, but he's from Japan.
No. I can't. Okay. And then then it's out of the question for Earps or Kyoki then as well, even though he's representing Japan here he's got the Japan.
Koike and Satoshi one Japanese fighter?
Yeah. Can we combine them and count it for one Japanese fighter? That's a good idea, CJ.
Falling Star has a question. What do you think about this prospect? Oh, well, no, not a fighter. I think they mean this question. If somehow this was a major success in Japanese pay-per-view buys, will Sakakibara have more ammunition dealing with other promotions to cross over to Rizin? I don't know if you heard that, CJ, or corresponds to that. Good question. But I would love to hear if you what's your thoughts?
Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. In the meantime, JayWolf, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I like that question. I absolutely agree. I mean, it doesn't matter who. Look, if the Epic Rising fighters get more than a couple wins and almost run the table against the Bellator guys, it's gonna be huge for the brand. And then the Bellator fighters at the same time can Scotty Cokes has an out. He can say, hey, our guys weren't ready for the superior rule set, but now for this next collaboration, it's going to be in Hawaii under the the unified rules. And so that could be is a little excuse to get out of it. So, I mean, I don't know. It's dude, it's real tough. Did you see the odds for these fights? Drew?
I don't watch shit like that. Okay. Also be honest, the bettors, yeah.
The Bellator public relations Twitter account tweeted out the odds a day or two ago, and they are really close. You know which one was the biggest the biggest underdog and favorite of the bout? You'll never guess which one.
Satoshi?
No. It was Kyoji Horiguchi and Hiro Ogikubo.
Okay.
That was the Kyoji Horiguchi is the biggest favorite on the card. All the rest of them were really close, within 200 of each.
To be honest, though, these bettors probably don't know about any of these fighters. Maybe Myers Pitbull.
Oh, come on. They absolutely know about
No, they don't.
So that's the only reason why those lines are so close. I mean, they obviously know AJ McKee
It
is.
also means that
Obviously they
nobody's
know-
betting. Because here's the thing, they also based on how many people are betting. If two people are betting and one guy picks Kyoji, the other guy, or the one guy picks Satoshi, one guy picks McKee, then it's 50-50. And it looks like, oh, it's even. I don't think there's a lot of people betting on this show.
Drew, I don't think so, bro. I think that the betting lines, when they set them, they're setting them because they're acknowledging that this is a really good card, and there's no guarantee it's going to be 5-0 either way. So it's just
Oh, okay. Well,
I just can't wait to see it.
Okay,
It's
I'm
gonna
back.
be fun.
okay.
Okay, CJ's back.
CJ, we want to know what do you think that if this is somehow a success for pay-per-view buys? Can Sakakibara use it as more ammunition in dealing with other promotions to cross over?
What do you mean?
So, like, let's say if this does 1 million buys, which it won't do, but whatever. Let's say if Rizin wants to, I don't know, do a crossover show with, I don't know, KSW.
There you go.
Can they say, listen, this crossover show got 1 million buys. You should do a crossover show of us because it could potentially get more eyes on you and also money from the buys or something.
No, I mean, it's pretty clear that Scott Coker and Sakakibara have a pretty special relationship. It's gone back a long time. They trust each other back from the early days, I mean, from the Strike Force days. And Coker seems especially interested in Japanese MMA. He's kind of a special promoter. I think KSW, the guys over there, didn't they say that they got involved with Rising at first because they thought it was kind of cool, but it really made no sense for them to do it, and that's why they kind of stepped back.
And I've also heard that I believe that they're not happy that Clever kind of like ditched them to go to Rising's.
So I mean,
also who else is
don't
there?
See it happening. It makes sense for Bellator, but it doesn't make sense for a promotion like KSW. And then UFC is never going to cost promote, so
neither will one.
Warranting.
One will only co-promote with the biggest promotions, and that's
I got one for you.
It's like Eagle FC going to go co-promote with Rising.
Khabib's going to be there. Khabib's going to be there. That's going to be the next co-promotion with Eagle FC. Khabib's promotion. How about that?
Fuck that. No.
I agree with CJ. Fuck that. Sorry, CJ. I want to get your thoughts also on Ogikubo versus Kyoji.
Kind of a funny fight. It's like the win-win fight for Rising. They can, even if they lose, they can say they won.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like Horiguchi is on a decline, but going back down to a lower weight will help postpone that. And what does it mean? The only way that Ogikubo wins is if he outgrinds him, which I just don't see happening.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
think? I'm in agreement. I think Ogikuchi's going to win, but I think this will be the toughest. The closest fight between these three up to this point. That's my honest feeling.
I mean, I thought Ogikubo was on the decline years ago, but he spit in my face. I mean, that guy's been fighting like a badass for years now. And I think Horiguchi's declined more than Ogikubo has.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. No.
I just don't think Ogikubo has the power to the fight style to knock him out on his feet.
That's it. He doesn't finish people. And I should have said that to you, JayWolf. He does not finish people. That's like, he's kind of like, he almost goes out of his way to not finish people for whatever reason.
Yeah, he goes out of his way to finish you in the most exhausting, painful way possible.
Exactly. Now, co-main event: Clever versus Pitbull. Patricio Pitbull. I still don't know which Pitbull this is. If this is
the pound for pound one.
Is this the one that knocked out Michael Chandler?
Yes, the pound for pound great. Patricio Pitbull. That put Chandler face down, ass up, fair and square. Force the ref to come stop it.
Okay. CJ,
CJ would like that one.
CJ, so here's some other context. So Clever has submitted 27 people. Patricio has submitted 12 and knocked out 11. This fight can't
Koike gets knocked out.
I think so too. Listen, he's been rocked by Hagiwara. Suzuki. Sasaki.
Hagiwara rocked him bad.
Yeah.
And also didn't Sasaki also hurt him with like a jab, it looked like.
Yes. No, he that was like a I got like loop. Yeah, he was definitely not loopy with that.
And so I mean, none of those guys hit as hard as these Brazilian shoot box style, just every punch, all power, all the time guys. And I think Koike is just ripe to get knocked out.
Yes.
Because I don't think his jiu-jitsu, he's a very good grappler, but he's not Satoshi grappling
No.
people.
There's actually,
And
if you watch his match with Gamrot, you can see exactly how to negate all of his grappling in that one fight. So I'm presuming that Pitbull, if his coaches are smart, they've watched that fight. They're like, oh, okay, this is how you can win. Like if he tries to grapple with you.
You got to think a top fighter coming from Brazil too has access to some pretty good jiu-jitsu training. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a rough fight for Koike, and I see him going to sleep.
Yeah, same here. Rizin will die says something interesting, that this fight should have been for the inaugural. Oh wait, no. That the Ogikubo Kyoji fight should have been for the inaugural flyweight title.
Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been cool, but they couldn't do that because Kyoji's under contract with Bellator right now.
Yeah, is he still bantamweight champion?
No, never Sergio Pettis.
He became
No, he's the rising bantamweight champion.
Yeah. It's okay. He's actually rising. Okay, because I still wasn't so sure who was champion at this point. I don't know.
Horiguchi's still the champion.
Okay. That title has not been defended probably in over a year, right? Longer?
He and Amanda Lucas are just hanging out in the Champions Club.
I gotcha. So yeah, JayWolf, how do you think this fight goes?
Oh, I'm done picking pound for pound Patricio Pitbull, one of the pound for pound greats in the world of mixed martial arts. Like you guys are saying, just an absolute killer. Got that power, that knockout power. But hey, Kyoki, he's a good submission guy. And if you notice from the face-offs, he's going to be significantly bigger than Patricio. And Patricio was finished by AJ McKee with the submission. So I mean, hey, if Kyoki can use his size, get him in a bad position, maybe he can. He is one of the best lighter weight Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys in the game. So maybe he can slip, snatch a sub, snatch a neck. Who knows? I mean, that's why we're going to see the fights. But I know I'm definitely picking Patricio pound for pound Pitbull. I am so excited to see him unleash the superior rule set. And like you guys are saying, Kyoki's been rocked before. If he gets rocked again, Patricio is going to, dude, he will immediately go for soccer kicks and stomps. It's like all the shoot boxing type of guys, you know how great they were. Shogun Hua, Wanda, so all those greats. So it's he's going to be looking to add his name to that pantheon of greats.
I definitely listen. If this minute that Clever gets knocked down, I don't think it's going to be like the other people where they're going to be hesitant. I think Pitbull's just going to try to go in there and smash him as much as he can.
Oh, it's going to be great. This is the people's main event. If I know it's not the actual main event, but this is the people's main event right here because Kyoki's a good fighter. He is good. I know you said that the Gamrot bout, but that could just been an off night for him. But ever since then, I mean,
that was Gamrot beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, I know, but it could have been an off night for Kyoki.
Well, he did go up and did he go up? He either went up in weight or went down in weight for that fight.
Up in weight. It was up in weight. Yes. Okay. So I mean, you got to give him some leeway there. Could have been an off night. Could have been dealing with the up and weight factor, and now he's going to have the size advantage here. That's going to be big. I mean, and the bettors. I'm telling you, I can't believe the bettors have the line. I thought this would be one of the bigger.
Jay, stop talking about the betting. We know it doesn't matter. The betting.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just cool that they have the close. The odds are close. I think that's cool. So
bettors don't know what they're talking about. CJ, you should have been here for an entire conversation about the betting.
I think I overheard it.
Oh, okay. You didn't miss much.
We won't revisit it for Drew's sake.
We'll talk now. Main event. Satoshi, AJ McKee, CJ. Are you gonna doubt Satoshi this time?
Yeah, I am. Legitimately.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why
AJ? First of all, I didn't realize that AJ's entire career has been in Bellator, which is kind of rare. But just a little side note. But
you got started in the B League somehow.
Yeah,
sorry.
Exactly.
No, but 1B league, UFC 1A, Bellator 1B.
Has AJ ever been submitted? I don't think he has, right?
No, he's only lost one fight, and it was that fight against Pitbull.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love Satoshi, I feel like all AJ has to do is just not get taken down, and he wins this fight.
Oh, Rizin will
It's
die.
that simple.
You want? It was for the featherweight title, by the way. So that was Gamrot going down, not Koike going up, because Gamrot's lightweight.
Well,
fighter.
Gamrot was still the bigger fighter.
Okay, yeah. So I'm sorry, CJ, didn't mean to interrupt you. So you think what? But I mean, like, here's the thing: is that these fighters who
if
fight,
it goes to the ground, Satoshi has a legitimate chance to win. But I mean, he's been dominating against a certain level of talent. The Johnny Case victory was really impressive, but
I mean, what about
he's gonna have the problem
Tofik?
that a lot of high grapplers have when they go against other high level talent.
What about the fight against Tofik? On paper, Tofik should have won that fight.
I think there was a lot of external factors involved in that fight. I think there's a lot of factors in that fight. Tofik hadn't fought in a while, just got back from a war, was quarantining.
No, that was the second bout of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick against guys. It's hard to pick against it's hard to pick against AJ and going into this.
I got you.
As much as I like Satoshi.
JayWolf.
What do you think?
We'll see what JayWolf has to say.
I cannot. I cannot wait for this bout. I mean, Satoshi, that like you were talking about, that victory over Tofik was so impressive. That was for the GP title, wasn't it? Or was that a different bout? That was for the actual title. For
the title, yeah. That was
okay. So it wasn't the second bout of the night. All right, sorry, CJ, I misremembered that one. So okay, but still, that was an impressive win. And then his Johnny Case performance was impressive as well. So he was on a good run of impressive performances. And you saw from the stare downs, McKee is used to being the bigger fighter. Satoshi is just as big as him, and if not probably a little bit stockier. And so I mean, he's not going to have the size advantage here. And it really could be. I mean, I'm still going to pick McKee to win because I picked every Bellator fighter to win. Because I want to put the pressure on them to go 5-0, so that way even if the Epic Rising guys have good performances, it's still like a win. So I mean, I'm picking McKee, but hey, Satoshi is a great fighter. I think he's the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter.
Pandering?
What? No, I'm telling you. Look,
are you pandering?
Hey, Satoshi is a great fighter, and if he wins, there's no more doubt. He is the best slider weight grappler, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter in the game. And AJ McKee is the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in Bellator right now. So I mean, that's. I think
Satoshi's clearly the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy in his division in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will that come into play?
Yes, and I mean McKee's no slouch at grappling either. I mean McKee's a great grappler. I mean, as we've seen, he has some great submissions. As you saw from the banter back and forth between Bellator and Rizin on Twitter, they were showing the clips of McKee, they were showing clips of Satoshi, and it was a lot of fun. They were going back and forth on that. And McKee also, his dad has history there, like you guys were saying. And that history was he got freaking knocked out by Shinya Aoki of all people.
It was injury. It was an injury.
Oh, okay. So McKee's gonna want him to go there and put it down for his family's name. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, Satoshi's got to bring his A game. I'm sure he will. It's just going to be this is a true super fight. I'm just so excited for it. And I can't stress enough how upset I am at the stupid UFC media for not covering this. It just feels like a sabotage against, they don't want the casuals to know about this awesomeness.
I'll say this. So obviously on the feet, that's where McKee is strongest. But here's the thing about Satoshi, and I watched a bunch of his fights, is that he kind of tricks people into thinking that they're safe on the ground with him. And then that's when he, like the Johnny Case submission. Johnny Case thought he was going for like a takedown or like whatever it was, like a suplex, and then got that reverse triangle armbar. The Tokidome fight, he was doing spider guard, which is very rare in MMA because it's not practical without a gi, and got a triangle that way. He has a way to get people to almost get them so comfortable that they feel like that they're safe. And then as soon as they get that submission to Tofik, he had Tofik in guard. So
I was about to bring that up.
Yeah. So like AJ McKee is a smart fighter. I've been a fan of his since day one, but my gut is telling me he's going to do exactly that to AJ. He's going to try to bait AJ into going to ground him, and then that's how he's going to win. And also, here's the thing, if AJ goes for a takedown or anything like that, or, they clinch, Satoshi's just going to jump guard. So
yeah, I don't think that's going to happen though. Did you see the interview with McKee was giving? That one of the few articles that they actually wrote about on the underground. He was talking about, McKee was talking about he's excited to use soccer kicks and be unleashed on the superior rule set.
If he can, listen, that's if he's not getting choked out by Satoshi. I think Satoshi's going to submit him. I think he'll be the first person to submit AJ McKee by second or third round.
That'd be awesome. But I don't.
Sorry, CJ. Oh, sorry, CJ. You're cutting in and out. Okay. Well, the funniest comment I saw about Satoshi that someone on Twitter wrote, they said he fights like Doug Crosby is all the judges in his fights. Because he's finished all of his fights. That's why. So, nice. CJ, how's your connection? Did you say you want to say something?
Is it better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's the saying. If he wins, that'll be absolutely nuts, and that'll launch him kind of like international stardom. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tough fight. I'm kind of excited to see what happens because I love it when a specialist fights. It's like kind of like Damian Maia back in the day, where it's like, yeah, they suck at striking, but if it gets to the ground, the opponent's in trouble. So that's why I always love those types of matches.
Thank you for actually bringing that up. So also apart from the fact that they have Hiroaki Suzuki teaching boxing, but now they have Johnny Case. Johnny Case is helping Satoshi with striking as well. So nice. Listen, we all know how good Johnny Case is. I mean, he basically broke Satoshi's eye in their first fight and handed him his first loss. So listen, I also McKee, is McKee going to take?
Don't forget about Johnny's illustrious boxing background during the pandemic.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yes, very, very, very true. Against like 0-10 fighters. Do you think that AJ McKee will take him seriously though? Do you think that
yes.
You think so?
He stated as much.
He has to.
He stated as much in that interview. Was talking about soccer kicks. He knows that Satoshi's a great submission guy, and to your point, Drew. Maybe McKee will actually try to out grapple him.
No,
because he was talking about how McKee is a submission guy too.
Listen,
that would be so stupid. That'd be like going with Prime Paul Harris in a footlock battle.
Exactly,
that's the stupidest thing you could possibly do.
Listen, if he does that, like I hope he loses. I then hope McKee loses. There's no way. They're light years apart. Light years. That Satoshi doesn't even understand. And I know that Satoshi is not a prospect, but he's, like the golden child of Bellator. Listen, if I'm Scott Coker, I tell him this. Listen, go look at your fight. Please do not go to the ground at all. That is what I tell him.
You're doing your best Elite XC impression.
Yes.
We'll give you $20,000 if you don't go to the ground.
Exactly. Yes.
And they were talking about it in the Twitter banter. You saw the Twitter banter. The Twitter accounts were talking about the submission battle. So, maybe it will. Who knows?
For McKee's sake and for the people betting on him, I hope not. So CJ, I want to ask. So, okay, there's like 1,000 fights on this card. What's one fight from the Bellator versus Rizin promotion you're looking forward to, and then two you're looking forward to that are not in that portion?
Bellator portion, I got to say, I'm looking forward to the Satoshi fight the most, just because it's kind of like the Hail Mary, like what's going to happen. And if Satoshi wins, that'd be absolutely nuts. He'd clearly be the best, one of the best in his division in the world.
Yeah.
Outside of the Bellator matchups, I'm interested in Sudario matchup. Actually, take it back. I'm interested in the Bay Noah matchup and the Park Izawa matchup.
I had a feeling. JayWolf?
Okay, for the Bellator versus Rizin event, super event, collaboration mega event, I know you guys are picking the top 2 bouts. I'm gonna pick Takeda versus Ramadanov because I'm curious to see how those 2 grapplers will match up.
There are 4 other fights that are so much more compelling.
I know. That's why I know you guys are gonna pick those. That's why I'm picking the Takeda bout. Because first of all, I love Takeda.
You're like, I'm gonna pick the one that no one else is interested in.
No, I like Takeda. He's a great fighter, and his bout. I like how he challenges himself against foreigners. I love this bout with Spike Carlisle, and then he had a bounce back victory, and now he's going into this super fight, and it just I don't know. It's really intriguing. I can't wait to see how, like you were saying, the Dagestani grappler is going to come in there and be unleashing a superior rule set. I can't wait to see how they fare on the superior rule set, Epic Rising. So I'm picking that bout. But if you want me to go with it is Satoshi versus AJ McKee. Oh, but I actually, Pitbull versus Kyoki also is. I mean, those 2 are just pound for pound greats. Being unleashed a superior rule set. Come on, it doesn't against the best. The Epic Rising has our champions. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. This is the biggest. They're the biggest crossover bout since Almighty Pride FC. Okay, and it may be even bigger than that because that was just Chuck Liddell and them when that happened, and they weren't even champs at the time. So I mean, but I don't know. Look, if it's not bigger, it's on par with that. Okay, this is the biggest event since Almighty Pride FC.
Yeah, just pick 2 fights. Pick 2 fights.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. The 2 main events, obviously. I'm going to pick Takeda versus Ramadanov for those reasons I stated. But if not, then I'll pick the co-main event since CJ already picked.
No. Well, what about for the Rizin 40, the non-Bellator Rizin 40?
Okay, for the non-Bellator one, I would like, man, it's such a bummer that Gustavo got hurt. I'm really looking forward to the Dodson, to the debut of John Dodson in the flyweight division. I think that's setting up the next year's flyweight Grand Prix. And then I love the heavyweights with Taffa, but man, I'm looking forward to the Montoya Bontorin as well. I mean, I know you guys don't like that one, but it's
why you pick the 2 fights that nobody wants. You pick the 2 fights that probably I'm willing to bet that the people are the least interested in.
But Bontorin, like I said, 2-2 UFC vet, top 15 ranked UFC, top 20, top 25 ranked here on Tapology. I mean, it's just
I'm excited to see them UFC vet is also a special stat.
All right, fine. I'll pick a different one then. Here, just for you guys. Here, let me pick a different one then.
Those fights that everyone's gonna hate. Those are my favorite.
And why? You guys aren't gonna hear the end of it. They're trying to be bangers. I'm gonna rub it in for the whole freaking next year. Okay, let me pick here.
I'm not gonna care because it's Montoya.
No, it's not Montoya. I'll go with since you already picked Izawa versus Park. How about Suzuki versus Nakahara? How about that one? That one I don't think nobody's gonna pick either.
Fair enough. But
you can pick. Why is your purpose? Why is your?
Oh, he cut out. Okay. CJ, no, the real one is the Siki Izawa versus Park. That I'm really looking forward to that one. I love Siki Izawa, Star Flower superstar, but just to be different and pick a different one from you guys, I'll do Nakahara versus Suzuki because I like Suzuki a lot. Top kickboxing crossover, just on incredible win streak right now. Nakahara coming off a soccer kick.
I'm also a big fan of sugar mama relationships.
Oh yeah, who's not? Everybody loves a good MILF.
Well, I guess it's fair to say. Well, the fight I'm looking forward to, Bellator X Rizin, obviously Satoshi McKee, because it's the one that's like, I don't want to say that the other ones are less predictable or more predictable. I feel like the AJ McKee one and Satoshi was less predictable, like hard on, like oh
no, you're right. It's the one that's like a coin toss.
Yeah, like legitimately like a coin flip. And for the 2 Rizin 40 portion, Hideo Tokoro, John Dodson. Listen, it's gonna be awesome. I guarantee it. It's not.
Yes.
That's gonna be true fireworks. And then, quite honestly, Junior Taffa and Tsuyoshi Sudario, because someone's gonna get knocked out, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
That's how it is.
That's gonna be a great fight.
Sorry.
I agree.
no,
that's gonna be a great fight.
Yeah.
There's no way the two
And,
heavyweights are boring.
And CJ, you're gonna be there for the entire show for all 12 hours, apparently. You know, good luck.
I mean, I might take a break during JayWolf's favorite fights, but
No, you're not gonna want to miss one bout. Yeah, I mean, you got a couple. Wait, how many intermissions are there this time? Is there 2 intermissions or just one?
Usually just one, right?
I think there's gotta be 2 because after Park Izawa, if every fight goes to a finish, they're gonna have to that could be like a 40-minute intermission.
Here, I got the graphics saved here. Let me see.
You guys have that 1 day long intermission, right?
Yeah, no, there's 2 intermissions. There's one after Ren Hiromoto versus Mr. X, and that's before the John Dodson Hideo Tokoro bout. And then after Izawa Park, there's the bigger intermission.
Oh yeah,
and the Rizin
it is on a
Bellator
Bima.
Open.
It is on a Bima. You know that Bima is gonna, they're gonna need time to just, promote a Bima shits.
And then you have the other intermission where it starts airing the next day at 11 a.m. on Showtime.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Don't remind us, CJ. Come on.
The 12-hour intermission. Actually, no, probably like 24 less than 24-hour intermission. So yeah.
You'll take what they give you.
Captain Sparrow doesn't come through, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and I'm gonna stay off the internet and everything and watch the replay.
I'm gonna spoil it for you.
Captain Sparrow.
JayWolf, I'm gonna send you pictures of the finishes for those fights.
I'm gonna ignore my phone the whole day, bro. You're not gonna spoil that one. CJ, you don't know who Captain Jack Sparrow is? Pirates of the Caribbean?
I understand who he is, but what's his correlation to Rizin?
If Captain Sparrow does not have a live stream, then I'm gonna watch it on the tape delay on Showtime.
Oh, is he?
Get it?
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes.
Wink, wink. Yeah,
I'm all above board, JayWolf. I support my places with my money, so
yeah.
Yeah, lucky. I wish I could. Hey, I got money right here wanting to give them. I would gladly pay them money for this event.
Got Brendan Schaub on the podcast asking for podcast links and for stream links.
So yeah, I guess it's the way to watch a show. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. You could watch Rizin 40 on Fight and then Bellator Rizin for
depending on where you are.
Depending on where you are. So
if you're in Australia, you get nothing.
Yeah. I guess
what happens when you arrest Jake Hune on drug charges.
Yeah.
I guess take Rising away from you.
I guess best of luck. Best of luck to all those who are gonna weather the storm. Literally, metaphorically. JayWolf, you got anything to plug?
Yes, I want to plug, of course, this awesome podcast, one of the best in the entire.
Oh, come on, Jay.
Mixed martial arts.
Plug your podcast. Plug your podcast with Teep.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. I was hopefully we're having a preview this week with Teep to the Junk on his channel, but he's only going to let me do the rant about the Bellator versus Rizin fights, but I'm going to try to sneak in some of the epic Rizin 40.
Oh, I definitely know you will. I definitely will.
Yes, so be watch out for that. We'll tweet out the links on Twitter, and Teep's YouTube page is, I believe it's called Random Acoustic Thoughts. That's where he does a lot of his boxing.
Do you guys have a name for your podcast, or is it just like no name for it?
He calls it Teep and JayWolf. He's so nice. He includes me in his podcast name. He says Teep and JayWolf's. And usually, me, I can rant on this stuff for hours. So he calls it the ridiculously long.
We should call it. It should be called the Let's Suck Off Bellator for 3 hours with Teep and Jay.
No, what talk about?
Are you guys geo-blocked yet? You should block Japan in retaliation.
CJ is gonna rub it in the whole time. He's gonna get the gold event. We're geo-blocked. Damn it, CJ. No, but seriously, Teep does a great job, man. He makes graphics and everything, and
I'm too lazy to do that shit. So the way he does it's hilarious. I love his
and I hope you can make a cameo appearance, Drew. That'd be great. I think. And
if you don't do it on a date, I'm at a bar. I can definitely probably sneak in.
Okay. But it's gonna be fun.
Andrew's in a lot of bars.
Even if you're in a bar, just freaking come in and join us for a little bit. I always love having you guys on, and
Okay.
it makes it more fun.
Okay,
And-
sure.
And so look out for that this week sometime. I'm trying to hopefully by tomorrow, Wednesday, and I would also like to write an article, since the stupid UFC media won't cover this event, and vindicating Josh Thompson's criticism of them. I can't stand the UFC media. But anyways, and then you can follow me on Twitter at JayWolf1, and I spell with 2 Y's, misspelled, because that's how it was spelled way back when I first started commentating, like 07. So that's how you know it's me. And if you're a real person, I follow you right back. So, and just, I just want to give you a shout out, Drew. This podcast is one of the best in the biz. CJ, your work is incredible as well. Your podcast and your articles. I just freaking love listening and reading to them. And I'm glad you guys are hyping this epic New Year's Eve collaboration mega event. This is literally one of the best freaking events in history. Okay. It's going to be so much fun. I'll show you why I call it epic. And join us in the Discord server. So that's a lot of fun. We can cuss and say more stuff than we would on like a public Twitter forum. So it's a lot of fun. So come have fun with us. Watch this event. Hopefully we get to see it live. Captain Sparrow might have a stream. Otherwise, just avoid the internet, avoid spoilers, and watch the tape delay on Showtime. That's probably what we're gonna have to do anyways. So I mean, no, we'll be watching Rizin 40 live. And then
you gotta come in the Discord and see what JayWolf writes. His username is Polia. He writes the funniest stuff on the Discord. You gotta come check it out.
Polia just, oh man, he got me so good today.
Oh, and
I
also, was it Yep That Guy?
He's hilarious.
Yes.
Yep, that guy's hilarious. And Yabdin, I mean, a shout out and in spirit, it used to be something Bushido. Forget what it is. Anyways, but there's Philip and who else? Mike S is in there. CJ's in there. It's a bunch of people. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just a lot of fun.
Sorry, Jay. I gotta.
All right. Cut me off. All right. Hey, thanks for having me on, though, Drew. Really.
CJ, what can you plug? What have you got going on?
Just check out my YouTube or come to the website, read some articles. I interviewed Nori Pravzara, so I'm going to upload that soon.
You did a great interview with Zenny. You did a great interview with Zenny, by the way. Really like that interview.
Yeah, I like the Zenny one because she was pretty candid about the one championship stuff, so that's pretty interesting.
And she spoke
English is a lot better than I thought it would be. Did
you think you got to get like a Chinese translator?
I showed up without even thinking about it and was like, oh my God, does she speak English? And when I found out she did, I was very happy.
And also the Karen one was also interesting that you did because what was it? Even though she lost her fight, she said she wanted to do like a Christmas bloodbath or something.
Oh yeah, man. She's all about that stuff, No, I may not cover the best Japanese fighters, but I cover the ones that amuse me the most.
Oh yeah. Well, now you gotta cover Ring Nakai since she got signed to Iridium. So hopefully.
Well, she blocked me and then she followed me, so I'm kind of confused with what's going on. But
that tweet when she made that tweet about wanting to commit suicide, and I replied, I quote tweeted her, and she said, I said that like this is very like disturbing, like something needs to be done. She liked my tweets.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think she understood it. I think she just put it through Google Translate and she thought, oh, this person cares about me. Probably.
I think it's cute. I think it's cute that you think that she's writing her tweets.
Or her husband or whatever, whatever his name is. Are you going to go to the...
I like how her Twitter is just like a mix between like how depressed she is and then like, thank you for giving me money.
Are you going to go to any of those Rizin pop-up things that they're having this week as well?
Oh, you know it. Do you think I'm going to miss watching Emi Fujino grapple around girl?
Oh, those grappling things look really, really fun.
Yeah, they look ridiculous. It's going to be great.
But yeah, and also you can follow us at We Are
Nothing
Rizin.
will ever beat the first Fan Expo is the best one. Nothing will ever beat that. But this should be pretty fun.
And if you want to follow us at We Are Rizin Pod. Follow J Christian Gary at Chris Gary 92 and at Focus Fights. My personal is at ABenja1. Good luck finding the show. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're in the United States, order Rizin 40 on Fight, and you know how to do the rest. Wink, wink. But with that, thank you for joining us for however long we've been talking about this GeoBlock show, and looking forward to doing the review show.